Hello and welcome to Creative Rodeo. Thank you for joining us. We have a phenomenal guest today. But if you have not been here before, this is basically the show where we bring on creative developers and we learn some fantastic techniques from them. It's more of a show where we want to learn a certain topic, and we bring on someone who's great at that topic, and they kind of walk us through it, and we're able to collaborate with them. So our guest today, Steve, has lots of knowledge about GSAP Scroll Trigger and Three.js, and oh my gosh, lots of follows. Thank you so much. Got it right over my face. I don't know why I placed that there. Let me do this. Yeah, so our guest today, Steve, he's got tons of Three.js and GSAP experience. And we have kind of a general idea for where we want to go, but there's nothing like pre-made that we are working towards. We're both kind of be collaborating and building together. And I might say, hey, what if we did this? And Steve would go, sure, great. Or I have a cooler idea, right? But so, yeah, that's what today's about. We're going to be learning together, chat. I want your suggestions here. I want you to be piping in saying, it'd be awesome if this thing spun around and did a cool thing. And we go, awesome suggestion, chat. Thank you, right? So it's a whole collaborative thing. We brought on, I appreciate the follows. I'm going to acknowledge them in a second. Thank you so much. This isn't me hating these follows. I just want to make sure that you can see me. But yeah, so it's going to be a whole lot of fun. Without further ado, without any more absurdity from just me, let's bring in today's guest, Steve Gardner. Steve, how you doing?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. And chat, let us know if there's any audio issues, okay? Don't worry about just dropping them in right there. I would rather fix it now than find out after the stream that you emailed me and say, hey, no one can hear Steve. So just let us know. And thank you for all those follows, Ksor and Rudix World and Ksor again and Isotoxin. Thank you for all those follows. So fantastic. And Ben's here. We got Mike here. We got Anthony here. I saw Liam here. Liam's on next week. I'm super excited about that. Lots and lots of people are here. And most of all, Steve, you're here. And well, Steve, you're back. You've been here on the stream before, but not this specific show. But people might know you from your Beat Burger. I'm actually going to bring that up real quick. But do you want to kind of give a brief explainer about who you are, what you like to get up to?
Sure. So yeah, so I'm Steve. I'm a developer at We the Collective. Yeah, and I kind of like.
But that's recent.
Sort of.
That's
Is
a recent thing,
yeah.
and I'm thrilled about it.
Yeah.
I'll explain why soon. But keep going. You're doing great.
Yeah, I guess most people online might know me from like Copen and stuff. So I do a lot of Copens, like I kind of do that mostly to learn new things, which is kind of why it's all over the place. Like I might be doing an SVG thing one week and then Three.js
That's
next.
Copen, my man.
All
That's
sort
what
of
it
thing.
is.
But yeah, exactly. Yeah, but yeah, that's kind of my thing. Just like playing around with web stuff and.
Yeah. No. So, and We the Collective is this fantastic agency where our friend Liam works and our friend Andy and a couple other people work. And yeah, I don't know who all I can shout out from there, but now you are there, and I'm just cheering in the background because y'all are like some of my favorite developers, and you are literally We the Collective into one place, and I can't wait to see what you come out with next. But I want to show off some of your work real quick. So what people might know you from on this show is this fantastic Beat Burger. Hey, Alistair, good to see you. And Amit's here, and Liam is Shub there in the chat. And thank you for those follows. So this we built for the heavy metal burger joint theme. And when I say we built, is that you told me what to type. You made this. And this is a hamburger, or cheeseburger rather, that turns into a drum kit. It's all in Three.js. It is fully playable. People have hooked this up to their actual like drum kit, like an electronic drum kit, I guess is what those are called. And they've actually been able to play this with their physical drum kit. You can play it with the keyboard. It's super fun. People loved this, and this was a blast to build on stream with you. And oh shoot, I realized that today's steps are wrong. I'm just going to wipe them out for now. Maybe we'll come back to them at some point. I did not update those. So much to update. But yeah, this was an absolute blast to make, and it's just so fun. Mac, good to see you. Adrian says, every show Alex has show beat burger. Yeah. Every show I do show off Beat Burger. It's kind of the one that like I kind of keep going back to. Sorry. And Ryan Labar, good to see you. Ryan's going to be coming on next month. I'm really excited about that. And then you have a whole bunch of code pens. I think this one might be one of the ones that we want to look at for today.
Yeah.
Right. So
yeah, we may even like reference this one a few times.
Perfect. I'll keep it open then, because this is Three.js and ScrollTrigger, right? You made this when ScrollTrigger first came out as like one of the initial demos, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think it was just after actually. I was going to, but then I think it got out just a touch late. But yeah, it was just after.
Got it. Yeah. So as you scroll through, Airplane dips around. I love the details of like the clouds covering the text. Like so many nice details there. It feels like there's actual depth to this whole thing. And then this is like the sweet. I just love that transition where it just dips through, and then we get some specs on it, and I'm scrolling a little too fast, but really nice touches here, and then it flies back out and it ends, and it's just super cool. And so I asked you to come teach us how to do this, basically, right? Like, can you kind of show us how to make a 3D scene that's animated through scroll? Because there's a whole ton of like implementation possibilities with this kind of tech, right? Like you can have like, say you're doing a thing for a pair of headphones, right? You can have them flip around and you can show off like the noise canceling over here, and then flip around and it shows like the comfy ear pads, and right, like a really cool interactive experience rather than just like a JPEG that has like lines pointing to different parts of it, right? You can have it really eye-catching and interesting, and I think a lot of people, myself included, would love to learn from you how to do that. So that's what we're going to be going through today.
Yeah, and hopefully it's not going to be that complicated as well. I'm hoping from this that it will be a bit more approachable. Like it won't seem like this thing that's all that complicated. That's kind of hoping. That's my hope from all this. Like,
I was hoping to make people say this is too complicated and walk away from programming forever. Is what I was hoping. Several people quit their profession today. But if you want to go the other direction, we can do that.
I'll switch it up then. Yeah. I'll switch it up.
I think it sounds stupid. We can go for your idea. It's fine. It's fine.
Oh.
We can go for yours.
All right.
People are just like, too much. So I want to catch up on chat a little bit. Xanadu says 3JS is very cool. I used to make human and Blender to get 3D human model whose body measurement can be changed via their sliders. Oh, that's cool. So you can like pass properties to the model. That's really cool. Wilster, good to see you. And Christina, good to see you. I'm thankful that you were able to make it for any amount of time. It's always good to see you. GleeJS now. VJ with the puns. Good to see you, VJ. And Andy's here. Just talking about you. Nice to see everyone. Excited for this one. Yeah, it's going to be great. So where do we want to start? Hey, Simone. I just closed out of the thing that I was going to tab over to. Reopen, close tab. So you've passed me a couple of links. One of them is this template, and I'll drop this link into chat. This is kind of the show link. If after this airs, the video should be up there. And right now I've got a couple of links there. This is still like a work in progress page, but for now, you can access the stuff that we're going to be looking at here. But yeah, so you sent me a template, and we're also going to be checking out the Poimanders. I don't know how to say that term. If you do, go for it.
No, not a clue. It's one of those many words that I've never said out loud, and I don't dare even try. Like,
yeah, it's tough. We're working in a visual and audio medium. It's hard to get around it. But we're going to be working from their marketplace because Poimanders is kind of the group that, among a lot of other things, does React 3 Fiber, and so they're really great at like shepherding 3D on the web, and so they were able to kind of create this marketplace that holds lots of cool 3D stuff that we're going to be able to use in our project, right?
Yeah, and actually, they make the 3JS Fiber, isn't it? And that's That'd be actually perfect for this. Like that's a tool that would be really great for building. We're not going to use it today,
Cool.
but if you were in React already and you wanted to build a thing like we're about to build, then I would recommend that because that would make your life a little easier again. I didn't want to add React into the
Yeah.
mix today, so we're
Yeah. I
keeping
think
it
we did it for
simpler. But
Beatburger, right? Yeah. Beatburger
kind
was
of,
React
yeah, it
Free
was
Fiber.
kind of
Or was it
a
not?
little bit.
Ah,
Not
whatever.
no, not fiber. No,
Got it.
it was a
Okay.
little bit of React in there, but it was just to get things on the page.
Cool.
So we won't do that today. But
Sounds good.
yeah, so if maybe we should start on that template, and that
Yeah.
template like anyone can run. It creates a new pen for you. So if anyone's wants to open it up on their CodePen, it will create um,
Yeah, but just make sure that
a new
yeah,
template.
can someone try this on your end and just make sure that I'm not linking to I'm pretty sure I'm not linking to my template now, but I just want to make
I
sure.
think yeah,
So
as soon as
if I
you hit
save as
save, it will
private.
change that URL
Okay,
to
cool, cool,
yours.
cool. Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah, yeah.
I totally forget about this CodePen feature where if you use template, it's just going to allow you to create your own and I don't have to fork it. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah, it's really nice. Um, so I think what may be a good idea just to run through what this is because, like all Three.js projects, there's a little bit of work you have to do to get things up and running.
Got it.
And I didn't want to spend like 20 minutes, half hour kind of writing all that. So it's kind of this is kind of it written already. So maybe what's worth doing is just for now, if you go into your JS and just comment out a good chunk of it, and we'll uncomment it and explain it as we go. So
Okay.
maybe all the way near the top, if you just do so from the bottom, from scene. So
Scene. Okay,
everything
cool.
there down. We'll just get rid of all that,
Cool.
and
And
then we'll uncomment
then
as we go.
guess I could just move the thing. Oh, hold on. I'm screwing up with the keyboard. There we go. Cool. All right.
So yeah, so I'm just going to run through what maybe we'll start on HTML so we know what we're looking at.
Yeah,
So
sounds good.
HTML's got two things. Just a container, and that's all it is, a container for the canvas.
Okay.
Three.js will put its canvas in there later, and then the page, which is where we'll put all our content.
Cool.
And then in the CSS, you'll see that canvas container is a fixed position, so it's always going to be at the top and fill the page. No
Okay.
matter how far we scroll, it's just going to always be there.
Okay.
And it's behind. So Z index 1, and then the page is Z index 2. So the page is going to sit on top of this fixed position canvas.
Got it. Okay.
And that's kind of all there is right now. So that's
Okay.
blank page. And then I stick in a console clear. I always do that on CodePen because CodePen refreshes an iframe or something, and that doesn't clear the console log.
Oh, good
So
tip.
that can be a bit frustrating.
Got
So
it.
I just clear that every time. And then we're importing a bunch of stuff. So we're importing three, and then we'll have to import something else for three later, but we'll add that in a bit later.
Okay.
And then we're pulling in GSAP and ScrollTrigger, which we're not using that yet in this code, but we will be later.
Cool.
And then we just need to register the plugin.
All right.
And then there's just some colors and pi. Pi is useful later, so I just saved it rather than have to type math pi every time.
Cool. Sounds good.
So if we grab the scene part, so just grab that part now.
Just gonna slide that down.
There we go.
Cool.
Yeah. And see if that changes. Is that gonna add anything?
Oh,
No, so that doesn't do anything. So that won't change anything. But what that is this scene is for those unfamiliar with Three.js, scene is kind of where everything lives. So you need to create one of those, and then you put all your 3D models, all your lights, all your cameras in the scene. So that's kind of like the base thing. And then we're going to say we've got a background color, and now we're just grabbing that from the colors above, which I think is just
Cool.
white right now. And then
Background, yeah.
and then we have a fog as well. So the fog. So if we place anything, like we're going to place a floor in there in a bit,
Okay.
and we don't want that to be a solid kind of stop at the end. So there's a bit of fog just to kind of blend it in and have
Got it.
things just
Nice.
fade out if they travel far back.
Cool.
And then we have the renderer. So if we just grab the
Alright.
renderer.
Just gonna drag this one down. And people are asking about the new CodePen looking. Yeah, it got an update just like an hour ago or something apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and Liam, you have to set like Vim code bindings or something like that, and then I can hold Alt up and down. Like my VS Code can do it normally, and I missed it, and I complained about it on Twitter. I'm like, I wish that was there, and of course someone's like, it is. Just do this, and I'm like, thank you. And so yeah, now you can do that. If remind me after the show if you can't find it. because it's super handy. So
Yeah, I missed that too. I'm glad
yeah,
you told me that because that's
yeah,
super annoying. I'm always like doing that key shortcut and it never works.
yup.
Uh,
Cool. So we got a renderer.
okay, so we got the renderer. We just set the anti-alias to true. So the renderer is what draws things to the canvas. So that's kind of, so you got the scene and that's where we put all our things. And then the renderer's job is to draw that scene with the camera and stuff. So
Cool.
we got some things here. This is just to kind of set how it's going to render those things. So it's got the encoding, the color, how it's going to interpret the colors and the tone mapping and the shadow maps as well. So we're going to have shadows in this. So we're just tweaking the settings for that just to make it look a bit nicer.
Gotcha. And is this stuff
Uh,
that like you carry from project to project, or is this stuff that like you dialed in specifically because you wanted a certain look for this scene?
y- No, so yeah, this is kind of what I carry over, and
Okay.
things like exposure and stuff I tweak depending on the model and the light I've got in the scene. But
Got it.
it's you might not want to change depending on what you're doing. You may not want to change some of these. But this kind of for me seems to be a good set of
Yeah.
options. So I
I'm
kind
just
of
trying
just
to think
start with that, and
for myself, if I want to submit up a project tomorrow, can I come here and steal these, or is this a thing where like from project to project, the same way that like, if I'm doing a website, I might set up a whole bunch of color variables and change my fonts and change, like those vary wildly from site to site. But some stuff like this, like, can this be relatively constant? And it sounds like you're saying, yeah, you can just use this
I
for the
certainly
most
start
part.
with this
Cool.
and then change it when I need to, and I don't always have to. So
Got
yeah,
it.
I think it's a good starting place.
Cool. Okay.
Um, Yeah, and then so we grab the container from the DOM, and then we tell the renderer, or we tell to place its canvas element in there. So we're appending the canvas
Got
element. So
it.
the renderer generates a canvas,
Okay.
and we place it in that container.
Okay. So
So
it's
that's why
basically
we now have a black box on our page.
got it. Okay, so and so we have a black box. Let me see if I'm understanding. Because we've created a scene. Is this getting the scene yet?
Not
No.
yet. No, this is all the
Okay.
render at the moment.
Cool. So it's just a render, and so there's no lights. There's really nothing to paint. So it's just
There's not.
painting
We've not
the
even told
absence
it to
of.
draw anything yet.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
literally a blank canvas.
Okay, got it.
If you were to
Cool.
look at that, it's got like I don't think it's even got a defined height and width right now. It's kind of what the browser does when it throws the canvas. It just kind of draws one that big.
Got it. Okay.
So
Cool.
we're going to make a camera now, and the
All
cameras are
right.
pretty simple. So it's just a perspective camera. So perspective cameras are like they will show things will get smaller when they get further away and that kind of thing. You got what's the other one called? What the other one's
Orthographic.
called? That's right. Yes, and that's kind of like everything stays the same size. It's kind of
Yeah, I think of that one with like a
like a grid.
Monument Valley kind of
Yeah.
like. I mean, it doesn't have to be at that angle, but that's like the isometric view would be an orthographic camera, right?
Yeah,
At
exactly
use,
that. Yeah.
but yeah, orthographic just means like things that are far away aren't smaller. Everything is pretty much the same size, right? Or like
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Um, and then we just set some things. So I think the first one is the lens sort of size, the field of view, and then we got the width and the height. And oh, that's actually the ratio. It's the width divided by the height, and a few other settings. I think that's the near and far. So
okay.
the number one, point one is how close we are allowed to render stuff, and then how far away it will render things before it will stop.
Got it. Yeah, I've definitely dealt with this in like Blender where as I zoom in on something, it starts to like eat away. It starts to like disappear a little too soon. You have to drop that to be smaller. Or if things are far away, they start to disappear. You have to make that bigger. It's basically like
Yeah.
the limit
And you
of
want to
what you're
try not
rendering.
to make that too big. You really
Right.
want to sort of dial that in so it's right for your scene. Because
Cool.
if you make it just infinite, then it's just not going to be. It's going to be using up the CPU and what have you that you don't need. So you want to get that right. But
Cool.
this is going to be fine for today.
Yeah.
And then we position it so we're sticking it slightly up and slightly back. So
Um,
that's X. X is in the middle. So X is it's just so like on normal screens, it's sitting right in the middle of the scene. And then it's one up. I think one is so
okay.
Y is up. Yes, it's one up and then two back.
Got it. Okay, cool.
And those numbers don't really mean anything. It's just like a scale that's like you can assign it to whatever. We could call that meters or we could call that miles. It doesn't really matter.
It's the unit,
It's
right? It's just,
yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
one unit.
And then the target, which is just a vector 3 right now, and vector 3 is just a way of storing X, Y, and Z, and that's just set to 0, 1. So a little bit. It's looking right in the middle of the scene, but up one unit. And that's not doing anything right now. We're not told it to do anything. That's just a save for later.
Ah, okay,
And then we
cool.
add the camera to the scene. So that's all we do. So that needs to be in the scene for it to work.
Makes sense.
And then we got
All
the
right.
lights.
Cool. Let's drag those
And
down.
cool. So we got a directional light, and that's kind of like directional everywhere. So it's shining a light in one direction from every kind of point in the sky. It's not like a what's the other one? Spotlight, where it's
Right.
coming from one point. Directional light's coming from everywhere, but in the same direction. And we want that one to cast shadows. So then you want to, again, this is one of those things where I've kind of just sort of gone with the defaulty ones, but you would in reality want to tweak this. So the camera far is how, so the way this works is it kind of takes a picture from the light's point of view and generates a shadow map, that's called. So the light itself actually has a camera that it renders. So we need to say this camera can see 10. We don't want it to see like 200 because that's just going to be more work because it has to render that and then it renders the main scene. So the more, the further it does, the more work it's got to do. And then we're saying how big we want that picture essentially to be. A normal bias, I don't actually remember what that is, but it's 0.05.
It certainly is. Someone in the chat might know what the normal bias is.
And then the position, that's where it's going to live.
Cool. So
and then we add that to the scene.
Got it.
And then the hemisphere light is it's a light that lights two different colors from different directions. So there'll be a sky light, so it kind of shines a light down on one color and a light up on another color, which is useful if you want to kind of simulate a reflection from the ground or anything like that.
Cool.
So we add that to the scene.
Real quick on the directional light. Am I missing where we're setting like the angle for it? Like, you know how directional lights come in from all over? Is that the position set bit?
Yes, I think by placing it up there, it's kind of that defines the angle. I think that's right.
Okay.
So we're saying it's there, curious. So it's pointing that direction. It's always trying to point to 0, 0, 0. So if you place it up here, it's pointing that.
Got it. So that's the D. Yeah. So it's going to point here. So wherever you move it, it's gonna. Got it.
Yeah.
All right. And Liam says bias just modifies shadow edge density. Not sure what the default is. Cool.
I remember now.
I don't know what the default is either, but ours is 0.05. I do know that.
So, and that's perfect.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're looking for here. Okay. O'Doyle Rule says docs say that the default is 0, and we don't want that. We don't want 0.
No.
We want close, but not 0. Yeah.
Cool. So a plane. So we just want something on the ground. So the plane is just a flat surface. It's 100 by 100, and then we're giving it a material which is the color of the ground. And then they by default come in at this sort of like facing towards you. So we just need to rotate it so it's fitting flat. And then also we want it to tell it to receive shadows. And then we add that to the scene too.
Okay. So this part's the one that flips. Wait, no, this is creating.
Okay, so
what was the flip
so you got two. Every kind of thing you add to the scene has two parts to it. As geometry, which tells you what shape it's going to be, and then a material, which tells you what it's going to kind of look like. And then you kind of combine those things into a mesh, and that's what gets drawn to the scene. Cool. So we created a new mesh, and it's going to be this shape with this material. Awesome. So you do that on almost everything. So that's what the floor is now. And we're telling it to receive shadows from the lights, and we're going to, and as I say, rotate it back.
Got it. That's the rotation bit. Got it. Okay, cool.
Yeah. And then so, yeah. And then so on resize does what it says on the tin. It makes sure that this box fills the screen. So now we're filling it.
And
that's all that's doing.
As I resize, it will continue to, because of this event listener here, right? It'll continue to fill the screen.
That's right. Yeah, and it's got to do a few things because it's not all well and good just resizing the canvas, but you also have to tell Three.js what the new sort of size is, and it updates the projection matrix so that it now knows kind of what ratio to draw those things at.
Got it. Now this
you also
is
changed the
boilerplate, right? Like this.
Yeah.
This stuff
yeah.
Just
exactly, and the same with the pixel.
Yeah.
And then so also the pixel ratio you want to set at this point, which you can set that once and leave it. But when resize gets triggered when you change monitors as well. So if you were to drag this to another monitor with a different pixel ratio, it
Ah,
triggers a resize, even if you didn't resize your browser
that
window.
makes
It triggers
sense. Yeah.
that, so you can then adjust for that pixel ratio.
Oh, that's cool.
It's good to do that here.
Never thought of that. That's really cool. Awesome. And
Um,
then,
that's
yeah,
all. It is awesome, but we're not rendering anything still. We've just got a big black box still, and we should have
true.
a floor, and we should have some lights. So this is what the last bit's doing. We're
All
telling it
right.
to draw every 60 frames a second.
Got it. So tick. Okay. So we're looking at the
We're
camera
saying, so we're
target.
saying the camera. We always want the camera to look at the target. That way we can animate the target,
Got
and
it.
we know that on every tick the camera's just going to adjust itself to look at the target. And then the renderer, we say render, and then we give it the scene we want to render and the camera we want to render it from. So you can have multiple cameras in a scene, and you can flip whenever you want. You can say actually start rendering from camera 2, and you can be like some sort of TV director and just switch cameras if you wanted to.
That's cool.
But we're always just going to render from one camera, and then we ask it to do that every animation frame.
Cool.
Cool.
And then,
So that's
then
the
we kick it
boilerplate.
off. Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. And
So
so
that's kind
just
of everything we need to kind of get the Three.js rendering. So now we need to do a whole bunch of things, I guess. We need to think about what we're going to build. I think that's the first thing we need to do.
yeah.
And then we need to do the HTML. I think it makes sense to do the HTML layout first, and then bring in some of those assets, and then we'll start animating them to scroll. So I think that's like
Okay.
our 3 steps.
Cool. So chat, as promised, we don't have like the finished version like sitting off screen to kind of go, haha, they made this. We're looking to kind of get ideas and come up with something to build. Steve had an idea. I'm sure that you would explain it better than I.
Well,
if
I think
you'd
it'd be
like.
nice. So it'd be on the same theme of kind of that airplanes. It's kind of it'd be nice to have that kind of transition between states, because that's kind of fun too, where it went from plane to blueprint. It doesn't have to be to a blueprint; it can be to whatever. But it'd be nice to add one of those, and it'd be cool to sort of have some. I thought it'd be nice, it'd be good for fun to have like a comparison thing, so we could go like something versus something, and then we could have like a winner at the end of the page. So we could have like 2 objects. We'll scroll down. We'll have like the stats for one of those things, and then as we scroll up, we'll add the stats for the next one. And then we'll just maybe we'll randomize it every load, and one will be the winner at the end of the page.
Love it.
Like something a bit simple and
Yeah.
something silly as well. Like I like the idea of comparing 2 random things, and we can just be silly with it.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. Where like like I'm thinking something along the lines of, say this skunk is one of the things, and as we scroll, it like zooms in and like maybe like circles the ears, or at least points to the ear and says like superior hearing abilities, right? Or
Yeah.
I mean on the skunk you might point to something else, but you know what I mean? Like yeah, like it would circle like the nose and be like, elite sniffer, or some
Yeah.
some stats like that kind of that we're kind of stealing from like this wingspan, right? Like the stats
Yeah.
bit. So and then it would
And I
pan
think
back
it's
to the
important.
other animal or something. Yeah.
I think it's important that these things I think I like the idea of comparing 2 very uncomparable things.
Okay.
Uncomparable things. Like I really like the idea that we compare like an animal to a sandwich or whatever. Like the winner
Yeah.
will be like something really some random reason. Yeah, skunk versus taco.
Skunk versus taco. That's quite the matchup. Okay. Skunk versus taco might be there. One thing we did want to consider, because we want to try to choose one that's not too hefty, right? Is that something that we're looking
Yeah, and
for?
I mean, we could do, and we can render all these things without too many problems. But
Okay.
to do this, I'm thinking in my mind, it'd be quite nice to have the main scene, which has the floor and the shadows and what have you, kind of the start, and then it goes into maybe like a blueprint version, and then ends on like a trophies version, which actually means we need 3 of every one of these objects we're adding. So we'll have to
Oh,
animate all 3 at once, which is how the
right.
airplane one works. So actually, the
Yeah.
airplane, there's 2 airplanes on the scene,
I
and we're
forgot about
rotating
that.
and animating them at the same time, and we're kind of masking one and showing the other. There's
Yeah.
actually 2 airplanes there.
I
So
remember that.
anything we add to the scene, we're going to have to render 2 or 3 times,
Got
or
it.
animate 2 or 3 times. Which again, like you could probably get away with it on a lot of these models, but let's just make it easy for ourselves today and just go with
Yeah.
something a bit low poly.
Yeah, let's be a little bit what's the word? Responsible. Ooh, here's Taco. So we do have Skunk and Taco. What are we thinking?
I do wonder actually how the skunk would look. 'Cause it has some animations built in, so I'm not too sure how. I mean,
Yeah,
we could
how
try
does
and do
that
that.
work? And so one of the great things I've noticed about this market dot poimanders, I'm just gonna keep saying poimanders. Lucy, is that a French word that I don't know? It sounds to me to be potentially French, but I am also a very unsophisticated. If it is, I don't know it. It's probably French, and you probably don't know it, even though you're native French speaker. It's probably that. I'm probably right. Is my guess. The odds are in my favor for sure.
I think so. Yeah.
Anyway, thing I like about this site over Google Poly, which is sadly no longer with us, is this bit of it doesn't have a download starter project. Interesting. They don't all have
Yeah,
it
we don't
apparently.
need that today anyway, so we'll have
Okay. Oh,
we'll
wait, wait,
grab
wait, wait.
the
Oh, I think it just had to load maybe because now we have it.
ah, or
Huh.
maybe it generates them on the fly.
Might. That's super cool. So, yeah, the fact that like this is specifically built with this use case in mind of you're going to be bringing it to React 3 Fiber or to Three.js. It's a Romanized Greek word. Thank you, Lucy. Appreciate it. Still have no idea how to say it or what it means, but let's just keep going. Oh, here we go. Written in Greek. Liam coming through with the. All right, we have to see real quick. What does it mean? What does it mean? I know less now. Oh, it's a deity or attribute of God or mind. Mind. Okay, it's something about your brain. It's about your brain. All right, let's not get too distracted. I'm so sorry. Yeah, Wikipedia rabbit hole for sure. All right, so where are we? Or if we're running with Skunk versus Taco, and we have 2 votes for Skunk versus Taco,
I
what
guess
should
we should
we?
then, shouldn't we?
Yeah,
I think we may not have the animations, that's all. So we'll and I don't know how that would look on a blueprint screen. That might just be a bit plain, but
yeah. This
we
one,
can always
yeah.
switch it out. If
That's
it
a
looks
good
a bit
point.
rubbish, we just
Yeah, yeah,
oh,
yeah,
you know,
yeah. We can
we'll switch
come.
it out, whatever. It's actually not too big a deal, so we can go with it for now, and we could always just like run like this whole site again on another
Ooh,
couple of things.
Liam says just tessellate it. Just add more polygons to it in the blueprint. You mean? I think I assume that's what that means. I think so. Skunk versus sandwich also works. Everything looks good, tessellated. Cool. All right. Well, we can
Yeah,
give that a shot if it's looking boring. All right. Cool. So
cool. All right,
where do we go
so
from here?
maybe just grab. Or should we just grab those first and just download those? So if
Yeah.
we grab the model, so the
Okay.
model
Grab
tab and
model.
just download the model,
Oh, interesting.
and
Okay.
that'll
Cool.
download a GL.
Skunk.
I went through this last time, didn't I? GLTF, GL.
Yeah, because of WebGL, GLTF.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah,
Yeah. This is
we'll grab
that's
those.
what we did last time. Yeah. Taco.
Yeah, I was saying all the combinations of that.
Now, do we put this into our assets on CodePen?
Yes, please.
Cool. And if someone doesn't have a CodePen Pro thing, where would you recommend they do
Well,
it?
interestingly, so if you go back
Okay.
to the
All right. It's not gonna let me do that.
that's really it happened to me too. You have to like select it for some reason. It doesn't like the dragging those files in there for some reason.
That's funny.
It might be they're already named. That's nice.
Yeah.
Um,
Handy.
if you go back to the market, the download page, and click on one of those,
To
there is
here
actually
or
to go to one of
in
them.
here. Okay.
Copy direct link.
Oh, that's
That
handy.
I don't know what the deal is with them hosting it for you, but it does appear to be hosted
That's really
there.
handy. Okay.
I
It's
didn't
on
want to. I didn't want to
Supabase.
just.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it seems I don't remember the bandwidth things with Supabase, but looks like they might be getting some storage through Supabase, and you can use them right from there. So that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah,
All
maybe.
right.
And if not, I mean, I guess if you've got like Netlify or whatever, you can host it on there and just throw it up on somewhere.
Cool.
Um,
All right. Nice. So
uh,
what do you
so
do with these?
we'll leave that for now. So I guess if it makes sense, if let's say we're going to go with an intro screen that says, I know, Taco versus Skunk,
Of course.
and then we're going to scroll down and we'll go to the Taco screen and show some stats there. and then the same for skunk, and then we'll go to the winner. So we need a whole bunch of sections to do that. And the way I like to do this is have just each section be full width, full height. And it makes life a little easier for this. You don't have to do it this way. I just think it'd
Got
be
it.
easier today. So I think if we make a section, just in page, just make a section with a class name section. Or I guess
Cool.
we could, yeah, that'll do. Yeah. And then in CSS, let's just make sure that that's always, width 100%, height 100%, or vertical
100
width,
view
viewport
heights.
width,
Yeah,
viewport
cool.
height. Yeah.
Section. Just like that.
Cool. Yeah. And actually, you know what? Let's just add an outline to that as well, just a red outline, just so we
Makes
know where
sense.
they are, just so we can see it.
Oh, actually outline.
Yeah. So it doesn't affect the size.
Yeah. Good call.
Cool. And let's add a few more of those. In fact, it might be worth just naming them as well. So if we go section and then give another class name called, section. Well, okay. So maybe we want a. What we can do with this is when once we finish loading the assets, we kind of want we could have those things just appear, or we could have them come in on the first kind of start as we start scrolling. We come to the first title page.
I
So
think that's
maybe the
good.
first section is kind of just say start scrolling section.
Or like
So maybe
skunk
we just
versus taco.
So I think maybe it,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I think actually maybe nicer to have that as just scroll, and then
Okay.
skunk versus taco can be a part of the animation for the next session.
Got it.
So
I
that'll
see what you're
come
saying.
in
Yeah.
and sort of
So
animate in.
just do scroll down or start
Yeah.
scrolling. Cool.
Let's make these flex as well, just so they get rid of. Because what happens is it's taking into account the padding and margin from all these elements. So just make that flex, and that gets rid of all that problem.
Cool.
Ooh.
Did you ever think when I'm like, hey, you're a professional web developer, would you like to come on and teach us about professional web development? That you'd be saying skunk versus taco multiple times throughout that stream? I mean, last time I
Yeah.
had you turn a cheeseburger into a drum kit, so I don't know which ones. I don't know.
I think
Think,
this is the dream. I mean, burger
yeah,
drums are nice, but skunk versus taco was the dream all along.
we need to settle it. People have been,
Yeah,
yeah, it's been too much for
yeah.
too long.
This is an important question.
Cool.
Okay,
So
so
added section.
let's add all our sections. I think that makes sense to add all our sections in now. So we'll have let's just call that one, skunk stats.
Skunk stats. Cool.
Nice.
Are we adding the classes?
Yeah, let's do that. Just because what might make sense is like we'll probably have sides for each thing. So taco will be on the left and the skunk will be on the right. So we may want the I can't say it. The skunk stats to be flex justified to the flex end. So so we can adjust those things separately.
Got it. Okay, so we're doing taco
And then
stats here.
Yep.
Cool.
And then let's for now just add one more, which will just be the winner.
Skunk tacos, Liam says.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there like a grinder one? Like,
That could be the end.
Sorry,
No one's
too
a winner.
soon. Sorry. Skunks are precious animals. They kind of like them. All right. So yeah, we got scroll down. Skunk versus taco. Skunk stats. Taco stats. Winner.
Nice.
All right. Cool.
So how we're going to do this? So when you do scroll trigger, there's a number of ways to do scroll trigger, but the way we're going to do it for this particular thing is we're going to say each animation is 1 second long, and time doesn't matter too much. Like this animation, this timeline could be 1 second or it could be 2 minutes long. It doesn't matter because we're assigning it to the scroll. So we're kind of scrubbing it like a YouTube video. You're scrubbing that YouTube
Right.
video. We're going to be doing the same. We're going to use the scroll to scrub through this animation. So the amount of time it takes is sort of irrelevant. But if we split each section into 1 second intervals, that helps us then find when the next animation needs to start. So that will become clear later when we start doing it.
Cool.
But that's kind of how we're going to run.
With scroll trigger, it's not about the time set to the timeline that determines the speed, but it's how fast I scroll that determines the speed of the video truly, right?
Well, yes, that's assuming that you're scrubbing, so you don't have to. So you can use scroll trigger
Oh,
to say, as soon as it's in view, just run this animation. And the
got
animation
it.
can actually just run as if it's been played like normal. So then, in that case, time would matter because you'd want it to take 1 second to appear or whatever. But
Got it.
if soon
Cool.
as you just say scrub equals true, it then becomes irrelevant. It's now being controlled by the position of the scroll bar.
Cool. All right. Great.
And we may
So
do both on this. So what
okay.
makes sense is we're going to have one kind of like main timeline, which is going to do the animations of these objects as we scroll down. But then we can have, like, for example, the stats that come in. They will be separate scroll triggers with separate animations that just run when that particular bit comes into screen. It's just going to run the little animation and then it will just carry on.
Okay. Cool. Awesome. All right.
Um, so I guess the first thing we should do is load in these elements and stick them on the scene. So we're going to need the loader. So that's going to be so we need to import that.
Okay.
At the top there, we need to import the GLTF loader.
Like that.
Yeah. So I got it here too because I never remember. I always have to look this up.
No worries.
And then it's in so it's in 3 examples JSM. So as you start, hopefully, oh, it's not going to do it here, is it?
Nope.
So it's so
Copy this.
yeah,
Copy
copy
the
that.
SkyPack
Yep.
bit, and then slash
Yeah.
examples.
And / examples JSM loaders, and then the GLTF loader.
Oh,
All
like
cap.
that. Okay.
Like yeah, like you have on the.
Cool.
That's it. Yeah. So that should bring in the loader. And then we need to sort of define what we're going to load. So let's go down to the bottom here. So we're keeping this simple. So we're just going to do, we're not going to do classes and we're not going to move all the code around. So we're just going to kind of do it in order, which isn't the greatest way, but it's just quick. So if we make a new array, just call it to load or something. That's what we're just going to run through to load.
Cool.
And then we'll make these objects. And we need to define the file, which we'll grab from the assets panel.
Missing keys. Here we go. So file, and then we grab skunk first. Is file the key that you said?
What's that? Yeah,
Did
that
you
can be. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, it doesn't
Okay,
matter
cool.
what it is, but yeah, file makes
Cool.
sense.
Grab
And then we're going to
taco.
need to let's just go with that for a minute. We're probably
Okay.
going to need to store the loaded file somewhere too.
Okay.
But let's just go with the file for now. So that's it. So we now need to run through that. So on load, to load on, for each.
Wait, what? Unload.
Yeah. So on to load for each. So we're just going to loop through this array. But we actually need to make our loader first. So we need to create a. Well, we need to create 2 things before we do this. If we just above this.
Okay, just above this, we just do.
Yep. We need to create a loading manager. So just make loading manager equals new 3 loading manager.
Like that.
Yes, it. And then that's going to be a callback too. So we want that will be called when everything's downloaded.
Okay.
Or upload, so once everything's loaded, that will get called. So if we run a little function in there, and we'll just we'll leave it blank for now. But in there, we'll put a little, a little setup animations function. We'll call that somewhere.
Okay.
And then we need to make a GLTF loader as well, which we'll then use to load.
Should we just call it loader because we're importing, or should we call it something else?
Load is fine.
Lowercase would work, and then that's new GLTF loader.
Yeah, and then you need to pass the loading manager into that, so it knows to pass.
Got it.
What to call.
Right.
So we will need to so now in the loading for each, so we can bring that back in now. So you don't need to make
cool.
a new GLTF loader for each one. We just use the same one for each.
Right, makes sense.
So we'll just
Okay,
do
so,
item or whatever,
Yeah.
and then we'll just do GLTF loader item file, and then a callback there. So there's another callback after this one. That's it.
Cool.
And then that's gonna bring back the model. So maybe put a model in there. You can call it what you like, but I think, yeah. So that's going to be our model that's just loaded.
Cool.
Now, just to get it working, we could just do scene.add model and just see how it looks. Hopefully we'll have two things. Oh, we've got an error.
Yeah, we have an error. Let's see what that is. GLTF Loader is not a constructor.
Is it not?
Am I importing it right? Do I need to... It might not be anything if this link is wrong.
Let's have a look. From CDS, going back there are 3 examples. GSM loaders, GLTF loader. That looks right.
Do I need to do .js or something? I'm vaguely remembering something like that. Nope, doesn't seem to do anything.
Just console log it. Just make sure we got something there. So
Yeah, good call.
see what that is.
Just gonna comment this out real quick. Whoop, that's not how you comment out things. Nope, that's still not how you do it. There you go. It's a mystery how to do that. No. So there we go.
No, that'll be it then. So let's see where we're going wrong there. So
Oh,
hang on, let's go back.
I did not. How did I, what? What? Cancel? What did I just click?
Huh. That's weird.
Sorry.
That's all good.
Let's
put that in the curly brackets. That's probably where we're going wrong.
Okay, so I wasn't sure. Let's see if that. Yep, we got a GLTF loader now. Cool, good call. All right.
So let's try and add that to the scene again.
Let's get rid of this.
Oh, another error.
Oh yeah.
See where we went wrong.
Is it gone? Error might be gone.
Huh. We'll look at the console then, because that should be working. We should have it. Oh, we've got add model for some reason. Just add.
Ah, okay. Got it. I took add model as add model a function. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. All right. Still, GLTF loader is not a function. Are we new GLTF loader loading manager?
Oh, dot load. So GLTF loader dot load. Sorry, that was my fault.
Cool. No worries. Getting closer. 3 GLTF loader. No. Draco loader.
Right. Provided. Okay. So this is where we're going. So some of these models are going to be compressed. That's what the Draco loader is. We could fix that, but it's going to be a bit of work. So we might be just better off just choosing something different.
Okay.
Just because it's the easiest, but the best way to do the Draco loader is to run it as because quite a processor intensive thing. So you kind of need to run it as a web worker, and that's going to be difficult to do in CodePen. So I think we're better off just choosing something else. Let's find out which one it is. It's probably this one.
It's probably the skunk.
I imagine it's this one.
Is there a way
to actually
tell?
Tell you what, let's in the to load, because we're going to need to name these. So in the to load, let's name each one of these as well. Okay. So we've got file, and then let's give it a name too. So we'll need that later anyway. So we'll just console log out the name.
Cool.
And then we just.
So then in here.
Well, that actually won't help, will it? Because it doesn't necessarily mean that's. Okay, it's probably it's a taco then maybe.
Let's see.
I don't know. That might not work because it's not synchronous.
I'm just gonna get rid of one.
So that's not gonna. Oh yeah, that's the idea.
Okay, so taco.
Yeah.
Taco is throwing an error.
Compressed.
Yeah. Oh, so you're blaming the skunk. You think it looks like they're both that actually.
They're both.
Both Draco loaded. So
all right, let's just try another one. Let's see if we can find another one that isn't.
Yeah. Is there a way to tell from here? Extensions required. Draco mesh compression.
Right. Let's try and find one that doesn't have that.
Extensions required. So we need 2 for that one. Interesting. All right. Let's see about pirate ships. Chat, can you help us out? See if you can find something cool that does not have a little requirement here with extensions required. Draco mesh compression. If not, we might be able to figure out that Draco mesh compression. But if you can find something cool, seems this might be honestly the way they do all of them. That's
I don't
really
think
neat
so. I think I
looking.
have loaded one or two of these in before without them.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure.
cool. Let me know if you find anything, chat. Let's look at this iPhone X. Draco compression.
Oh no.
Zombie car. Draco compression.
We might have to fix this then, don't we?
No worries. Stairs.
Oh, here we go. The
You got one?
witch doesn't. The witch doesn't have any.
Witch. Interesting. I would not expect that. Where's the witch? The druid? The young Corrigan?
Nope, nope. It's a witch. It's like a purple witch.
Okay, I'll keep scrolling.
Maybe near the bottom of his alphabetical order. There he is. There she is. Back up. Back up.
Oh.
There she is.
Ah, nice. Okay, cool. And do these animals then? I'm guessing these are all similar.
They look similar, don't they?
Yeah,
here we go.
So maybe we can do an animal comparison? What do you think?
Or bear versus witch.
Bear versus witch. That works. Or duck versus witch? I don't know. What's funnier?
Okay. Isn't there like a Monty Python thing about like if the witch if someone floats, they're a witch. So we could do like we could play on that. Like the duck can float, but the witch doesn't float.
Sadly, I have to break it to you that it's not a Monty Python thing. It's an American Salem witch trials thing, and it was not fun. Yeah, that's a
okay, but it was mentioned in Monty Python.
Yes, it was. It was referenced because it was a real thing. But we can do.
All right. So maybe if it's a real thing, maybe that wouldn't be appropriate.
All good. I think Liam's linking to the witch burning trial thing. Yeah. Well, actually, you know what? It's definitely not just an American thing. It's probably the Crusades also. It's probably just, it's too soon. Thank you, El Evidente. Very true. I still haven't gotten over it. Louis is here. I can only stay for a short time and checking to see what's happening here. Yeah, we are. You came in just at the right time. Good to see you, Louis. Hope you're doing well. We close out of that. Okay, so which versus what? Basically anything made by K. Lausberg seems to be fair game.
I think you can probably click on her name or their name, I should say.
Yeah, good call. That is a link. All right, so lots of cool stuff. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I think witch versus animal of some sort. Here, let me see. Actually, let's actually do. I was gonna do a poll, but that might take a little too long because I can do that here, and I like to sometimes remember that I have powers in Twitch. All right. What do you think? Witch versus bear or duck? Alithia's here. Hey, Alithia. Good to see you. And Adam's here. Oh, man. Twitch Witch. Duck. Is this website with free 3D models similar to RIP Google Poly? Yes, but I think the better what's it like? Successor is the word I'm looking for, is poly.pizza. This actually has the Poly by Google stuff where the Poimanders market doesn't have anything by Google, but it still has a whole bunch of stuff, and it's in that same spirit of let's give free assets for the web.
I think these ones are going to be a bit tidier. They seem to put a bit more effort into making sure that they're because you can see with the download options, they're just a bit more kind of set up for this, whereas Poly might be a bit hit and miss on the size and the materials.
Yeah, just for the sake of speed, I'm going to not upload this and download this, but I'm going to just paste in bear and see if we can get it. Oh, that's beard. See if we can get bear working. And witch. Bear and witch, right? Those were the two. That's Taco. Sorry, Skunk versus Taco. We'll have to have a rematch at some other point. But witch versus bear is quite a matchup. Copy direct link. And let's see what we got. Dang it. Not an instance of 3.object3D.
Oh, we need to add the scene. Yeah, that's my fault. So we need to add the scene. So we're telling it to add everything, but actually we need to add the dot scene.
Okay, cool. Well, that's we got a step further. That's awesome. Nice. That is a horrifying mashup. Oh my god. Okay. We've combined them. We meant to
That's
do bear versus witch, but we did bear plus witch, and I don't like it. I don't like it.
Yeah, that was not something we needed to see, was it? That's not the answer we needed.
Hold on, can I
Should
just
we
say just hold on? I gotta read chat real quick. Adam goes, every time I'm acknowledged in this chat, I get momentarily confused as if I'm live on screen and I do a little wave. I love that. I love the thought of that. It's like the Bear Witch Project, El Evidente. Phenomenal.
Ooh,
Phenomenal.
nice.
All right, cool.
We should maybe call it that.
Yeah.
We do need to go back actually and rename all our HTML things. We got taco.
Oh,
and stuff,
yeah,
but
we do. Okay, so Skunk versus Taco Bear versus Witch. Bear stats, Witch stats.
Oh.
Awesome. All right, cool. And now
so
Witch. Nice.
Just to make life a little easier, well, first thing we need to do, these aren't casting shadows, but let's move the camera back a touch, actually, because it's really close up, isn't it?
I agree.
We're a bit uncomfortably close.
I'm not looking in this direction, actually. Yeah, I'm keeping my eyes averted. It's staring me down, man. All right, where's our camera? Lights, camera. Here we go. So it's this one?
That one. Yes, that one. So yeah, move that one back.
All right.
A bit better. So they're not casting shadows, and we want some shadows. So what we need to do is, once we load it in, the first thing we need to do is run through the scene and just tell every material to receive and cast shadows. The code for that is, so we need to traverse. That's the word I was looking for. So we need to go model scene traverse. And that will go through and grab everything. Just traverse.
Traverse. Like that?
Yeah. So that will go through everything. That will deep dive through the entire model and pick up everything.
Is that a function that's on scene, or is this something that's on like arrays and things that I've never used?
That's on any Three.js.
Okay, so it's specific to that prototype. Okay, got it.
Yeah. So, cool. But you can do it on pretty much anything. You can do it on a group. You can do it on.
It's just a nice.
Do it on a scene.
It's recursive and it'll go through everything. Like it'll go down every tree. Cool. Awesome.
Yeah. So you say let's item or child. It might be worth doing child just so we know what we're looking at here. Cool. And we just want to quickly check it's a mesh because they're not all meshes. Some of these are going to be groups. So we want to do if child instance of child space instance cool. Of. Yeah, and then 3 mesh, so all caps.
Underscore, right?
Yeah, that's it. Cool. So if it's a mesh, we want to say the child needs to receive shadows, true, and cast shadows, true. Perfect. And then.
Awesome.
And then. Why is that not working? That should be working now.
Am I getting these properties correct?
Let's check. Let's see if we're actually getting any of those. 3 mesh.
Okay, we're getting stuff. Yeah, it's getting these, but receive shadows. Is that the right property?
Receive shadows. Receive. Oh, shadow. Shadows. That'll be it.
Good catch. Nice. There cool. It is. Looks great.
So we could just add this now. Well, we have just added this to the scene, but I like to put these things in groups just in case we need to animate. So we might not do this today, but it's useful to be able to animate the whole thing and maybe individual elements inside. So if we wanted these guys to sort of animate, to like fall in, we can animate the scene of each one, but then we can also animate the group so it doesn't affect scroll trigger kind of part of it. So
Cool.
let's create, if you scroll back up where we're defining the onload,
Yeah.
if we just add another thing to that. So we've got name, we've got file. Let's add a group as well. So the group that we're going to put it in.
So you can prettify this format. Wow, that's spaced out, but oh well.
Okay.
Let's just go
I
group.
just added a whole bunch of, and then so that's going to be a new 3 group.
Capital G for group.
Yeah. Yeah.
All
Cool.
right.
And then we'll do this,
there.
and then a comma there. Just
Cool. Thank you for the follows. Appreciate it. Welcome.
You can
cool.
you need a comma at the end of those groups.
I sure do.
Cool. And then we're going to add a group to the scene, and then we're going to add the child, the model scene to the group.
Got it. So yeah. So instead of this, we're gonna add wait, what did we call
item
this? To load.
Item. Yeah, so we're going through to load.
We're getting off.
back
Cool.
as item.
Item.group.
Yeah.
And then we're just what do we
add? And then the model, so what you just cut out that other one,
Cool.
and then we'll add the item group to the scene. It just gives us another thing we can animate and play with. So
awesome.
now just make life a little easier later on, because I don't want to we don't have to go through this array just to find the witch and go through the array to find the bear. So let's just create a new object called models, just above this or whatever, and just make it empty for now.
Cool.
And then down here, we'll just say models and then name
equals
it.
Below the scene add,
group.
Because it doesn't really matter.
That's fine
right?
there.
So models dot or item dot name
equals item group. Cool. Now we can reference that later. So now that's all working and it's all loaded in. So now now we have 2 models being loaded. We can go back to the model manager, loading manager, sorry.
Cool.
And then where we've got this kind of callback, let's make a new function to sort of set up the animation. So if we create a new function called setup animation or something.
So create that out here.
Yeah. We might want to reference things outside that function. Would that allow? It might be okay, wouldn't it?
You want to do
normally do the arrow functions.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do that.
I don't know if it makes any difference, but equals.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry.
Good.
There we go. Cool.
Cool. And then we just call that from loading manager at the end. So we need to, let's move these into a nice starting position.
Okay.
We could. Should we have them off screen first, and then if we scroll down and it says witch versus bear, they kind of
makes sense.
move
Yeah,
in.
like they're not there, and it like they come up, or yeah. Well, so here's the question: do we want to animate the camera down to where they're standing, or does it because it doesn't make sense for them to come up through the floor or to like slide in from the side? How do you want? I guess we could do both. We could. Yeah.
Let's do both. Yeah, because that makes sense. Because then we don't have this weird floor. So let's do both. So let's for now move them slightly off screen.
Okay.
Because that's where we want them to start. So if we go to models.which is it capitals?
I think I did capital also,
what...
but to ask if I should drop it, probably should. Witch and bear. Cool.
Cool. Dot position, and then I guess it's going to be the X. And if we move the witch off to the is it bear versus witch we called this, or witch versus bear?
Bear versus witch, yeah.
We want to move the witch off to the right, so that's just going to be like, I don't know, 5 or something.
Cool.
And then we do the opposite.
It's gone, but I don't know in which direction. We'll see.
I should be right, so yeah, that way will be to the
have
right.
A better
and
sense
minus
of
will be that
direction
way.
with this than I do. Cool. All right, nice.
Cool. And then now we need to set up the scroll trigger. So we could just create a timeline here and then just assign scroll trigger to it. But scroll trigger has this nice thing where it can do media queries. So what we don't want to do is have this really over-the-top massive 3D animation happening if the user prefers reduced motion on, because that's going to make them feel really bad, because there's going to be a lot of stuff moving around.
Right.
So we want to make sure that we are paying attention to that.
Cool.
So the first thing we need to do is go scroll trigger, so all caps.
So where do you want me to put this?
So just under, yeah, setup. So just after this position. In this setup
inside.
animation.
Cool,
this
cool.
is all part of the animation.
So scroll trigger like that.
Yeah, and then it's called match media. So match capital media. Yeah. No. So you're right.
Oh.
You're right.
Cool.
And then it's you need an pass an array. So an object. Sorry.
Okay.
And then it's the key is the query.
Prefers
brackets,
reduced motion, basically.
Yeah, so we're going to do the opposite. So we're going to do prefers reduced motion, no preference. So if they don't have a preference, we'll do the animation. If not, so what this is doing is scroll trigger, and you do this for screen size as well. So you'd say like on mobile, you might want a different timeline animation scroll trigger.
Makes sense.
So you would say, so you pass it that, and then you pass it a function, and then it kind of manages that. So we will pass it a function and say create our animation, and if the media query matches, it runs that timeline. If it doesn't, it won't.
Awesome. And real quick,
Cool.
Guraba, good to see you. And Cassie just got in here. Cassie just landed right in the nick of time. Cassie of Green Sock and SVG and just being wonderful fame. So cool. What are we? Yeah.
This needs to be brackets in here. So brackets. Like you would in CSS. So no, it is a string.
Okay.
It's a string, and then like in CSS, it would be in the kind of normal brackets. No, not square brackets. See, did he have these like proper names?
Parentheses. Parentheses isn't.
No.
No.
So it's a string, but then it's the normal kind of non-square, non-curly brackets. Just the brackets. That's the ones.
Yeah, parentheses is what. I don't know. I know.
Right.
I think Cassie calls them curly boys or something. I forget. But all right, cool. So prefers.
There's reduced motion, and then no preference. So if there is no preference, we will.
Colon?
I think it's inside the bracket still. Parentheses. Colon. Yeah.
Oh, colon. No. Cool.
Brown boys. That's what it was.
Round boys and curly boys and pointy boys. Yeah, it's just an easier thing, right? It's just easier.
Yeah, I think that's the way they should be officially renamed if they haven't already.
Yep.
So and then we need to make a function to do this, and that we'll just make a new function again. So we'll just pass a function called, I don't know, let's call it desktop animation, because it's kind of going to be the desktop animation, and if we get time, which probably won't, but we could have an mobile animation.
Okay.
We're not going to call it here. We're just going to reference it here. So GSAP will call that later. So now we need to make that function too. So let's just create desktop animation. And this is where the fun begins. Cool. So we need to create a timeline, and this is going to be like our main timeline. That's going to do the entire animation, and we might make little mini animation timelines for the rest of it, but let's just make this timeline. So const. Yeah, that's perfect.
Is it?
So
is that full or is it lowercase?
Lowercase for GSAP, and it's going to be new because it's a new timeline. So we're going to say new GSAP timeline. It has to be timeline, not TL. Oh, unless that works, I don't actually know. Is that a thing?
Might not be. We'll see.
Huh. And so as I said before, like what I tend to do with these sort of things, because we have these fixed height sections. What I want is every kind of section to be 1 second long. And we'll explain it now. So if you just above that now, above the timeline where we just created that new timeline.
Okay.
Just create a variable, so let section equals 0. And this is going to be where we tell the animations where to start. So by default, I want every animation to be duration 1. So we can do that in the timeline. We can set defaults in the timeline. So if we create a new object inside there and say default equals, and then we kind of just like every animation we create will have these defaults on it. So so an object in here, and then we'll say duration 1. And we'll also add a nice ease in here too, because I think the default ease is like an ease out. We want an in out, just so things don't suddenly start moving. We want just so maybe like a power 2 or something. Power 2 ease in out. I think it might be lowercase.
Cool.
I think it's just in out now. Camel
I always have to do the reference for this. I always go to the ease thing.
Yeah. So get rid of the ease, and then it used to be that. I think you're right on the old one, but I think it's just in out now.
I don't give me too much credit. I was just typing what you were saying, and so that's all it was. I'm just dictating is all it is. Marlon, good to see you. Cool.
And then we may as well set up scroll trigger too. Yeah, let's do that too here. So we set scroll trigger up here in as well. So we set that up. So after default, we want to set up scroll trigger.
Inside this timeline object still. Cool.
So yep. So scroll trigger, and then that equals the object too. And we're going to assign it to, so the trigger is the page. So the thing that's holding all these sections. So it's going to be .string.page. It's going to be like a query selector for page.
Cool. Can you, or at some point, you don't have to right this second, but explain the trigger aspect of scroll trigger. If it'll be easier to do once we have it built, that makes sense. But I just think that concept took me a bit to get, and I probably still don't have it. So
yeah, okay. Well, we can maybe run for it now. So scroll trigger, that's the thing it's going to be like watching. So trigger is a thing that it's going to say like. So you can say the trigger when we come in and out of. So we might say the trigger is this section, and when it's in and out, that's when. I think I'm saying that right. So that's the thing we're going to be listening to on scroll. I think that's right.
Okay. I think it'll be easier once we see it. Yeah, like I always put the markers out and stuff like that. So we'll see.
So we want that trigger to start when the top is at the top, because at the top of the page. So we do start, and then a string that says top.
Top.
And then we want it to end when the bottom is at the bottom. So we do end. I think it's end. Yeah, end. Bottom. So that's kind of where it will go. So, but then we also need to tell it to play on the scrub. So we now need to say scrub. So you can do scrub equals true. And what that does is it matches 1 for 1.
Let's go 1-on-1, right?
If you were to jump down suddenly, like a page, the whole animation would suddenly just appear a page up. So if you set that to 1 second is going to be a bit laggy. But that would be 1 second, so it would lag by a second. Well, it would complete the animation. So let's go by 0.1. I think 0.1 will probably do it, to be honest. We want it to be pretty much
super quick. We just got raided by Jason Langsdorff and crew. Jason, thank you so much for that raid. That's super awesome. Welcome everyone. We are learning from Steve Gardner how to do a bit of Three.js and GSAP GreenSock Scroll Trigger. Real quick, just to kind of give you a taste of where we're going. So Steve has created lots of 3D and scroll triggery goodness before. This is actually his code pen from, I think, almost 2 years ago now. No. It was last year. It was around
last year,
June-ish, I want to say. But yeah, as you scroll through, this airplane flies around and it goes through and it goes into like a blueprint style. And so we're learning how to do this from Steve with kind of our own creation. We had the chat choose what we're going to compare one to another. We settled on bear versus witch. And so we've got them both rendered, but off screen right now. And we're working on the animation. So we've got like the 3D models in place. And now we're bringing in the GreenSock scroll trigger that's going to allow it. So as we scroll down, the camera's going to move, the models are going to come into the center, and then we're going to like zoom around them and do all kinds of cool stuff like that airplane did in that demo. So you're just in time. Pull up a chair, and thank you again, Jason. Great to see everyone here. So thanks for coming through, and thanks for that raid. Cool. So we're just talking about scrub, and this will kind of give kind of an ease to the scroll, right? It's not going to be like as instant. It'll kind of blend down to it.
Yeah.
Or, yeah.
That's right, yeah, and because it's quite short, it won't be too laggy as well. So I think that's kind of a good compromise. But we can play with that as you see it in action.
Cool.
So now we need to start and doing the timeline. So we need to start animating these objects around. So let's just after your timeline. So let's just move something just so we can see it working. So let's just do timeline 2 or TL2, and then we'll do models.
All right, models.
Let's do the witch. The bear. Positions.
Oh, right, positions.
And then the X, and then we're going to say X. Let's move it back to which side is the witch on? The right, wasn't it? So let's say 1, just so they come in next to each other rather than. We don't want them to merge again like they did in that horrific.
Right, that was horrifying. But this is going to be relative, right? Or is this going to be relative to where it is already? So are we adding 1, or is this going to be setting it to absolute?
So we're telling it to go to that coordinate. So we're telling it to go back to 1. So we've set on the setup, we told it to go to 5, and now it's going to start at 5 and it's going to end at 1.
Okay.
But the thing we're going to do here is we're going to add the third parameter that you can pass into a 2. So you can for a timeline. So the first one is the thing you're going to animate. The second one is the object with all the parameters you're going to animate. And the third one is where you want that to start in the timeline. So we want it to start at 0, but we're saving that in the section that we created just above here. We created section, we called it 0.
Okay.
So we're going to pass in section, and we're going to always pass in section on every single one of these. If you add in after the X equals 1.
Okay, sorry, I was just reading what Cassie was saying. So real quick, Nikki says, or he basically asked if that's what you made for the New York Times. I don't believe this was for the New York Times, just for funsies, right?
Yeah, just for fun. But yeah, I mean that's the kind of thing that like the New York Times and what have you would like doing. That's kind of this is a great tool for kind of storytelling, data, and events and things like that.
Yeah, and then Cassie kind of answered my sort of question where X% is relative to the element with DOM elements and SVG, but we're not sure about Three.js objects. So it might not be relative here. And yeah, so we're not sure. Cool. All right, awesome. You were saying, you gave me a direction and I didn't hear it.
So we're going to another comma and then section. So that's just going to, at the moment that's 0. We're telling it to start at the 0 at the very beginning of this timeline.
Cool.
So let's, before we do any scrolling, let's go to HTML.
All right.
And then let's just hide all the other sections apart from the first 2.
Okay.
So we want those 2.
We got that one, and then we're going to comment out these. All right.
Now, yep. So fingers crossed when we animate now. Why is that not doing it?
I don't know. Do I need to pass the other, does it matter if I don't do XYZ? I don't feel like it should matter, but...
No, you don't need to do that.
Okay,
that's fine. Are we getting that far? Are we even setting up the animation?
Let's see.
We may have got ahead of ourselves. To onload, let's follow it through.
No, it's never console logging here. So
we do.
Let's see. Do we
get to on the loading manager? Does that ever get complete?
Loading manager. Setup animation is what that. Oh wait, setup animation, desktop animation. Right. So let's go here. Loading manager. Let's do setup animation. And then, are we calling this desktop animation? Yeah, we are here. As long as
so scroll trigger will call
this
that.
Might not be correct. That might be the thing. We'll see. Right, so how far are we getting? We got a 401 for maybe. I don't know what that is.
That's a copen thingy.
Loading manager, setup animation. Okay, so this isn't working. So we're setting up the animation. Where did I go? Setting up the animation, but this isn't being called. This match media bit.
Okay, match media prefers reduced motion. Where's that gone?
Keep scrolling out of it. Yeah, so it's not picking up the.
Oh, reduced.
I should have asked. I was typing. I was like, Yeah, I should have asked. All right, let's see. Still nothing.
Okay, well,
But let's
that
see
was
if
one
it's
thing, but
logging.
that's not it.
See if it's logging.
So
Here. Okay, no, so we are now logging to that spot. It's just not
GSAP not defined, but that's all caps. We got GSAP all caps
GSAP
somewhere?
target
GSAP
undefined,
defined.
not found. So is the models dot
Oh,
which
right.
is this dot scene or dot models dot which dot
We add the group, don't we? When we do models
oh dot
which,
group.
we added the group, so that which is the group, I think.
Item dot group dot add. No, it should be added onto this group thing, right? So we add because which
Yeah, so we add that. Yes, if you go
because
back down,
sorry models. Oh, you're right. No, you are correct because we add models. Sorry, I'm getting conflated.
so yeah, so down here we got models item name equals the group.
Right,
So that
that
should
bit.
be correct.
Correct. Yeah.
Um,
All right, let me take
so
or
let's
at
just
least remove
console
what I
log
just
it
did.
out in the setup.
Reduce.
Just console models which. Just see what we got there. I don't know why that would be a problem. Oh, is it position, not positions? That's
That
what it's
makes
going to
more
be.
sense. I wasn't sure about that one. I need to just speak up more. Let's see what we got. Yeah. All right. Look at that.
Cool.
We got it,
So
everybody.
let's
It's coming. Nice. That
so
feels good.
now we got it set up. It should start happening pretty quick. So should we go?
Cool.
So should we go back to our setup animation, our setup desktop, whatever it was called, setup desktop animation?
Yeah. Where's
Cool.
that? Desktop
So a bit
animation.
further
Here we
down.
go. Cool.
Down. So now we want to animate the bear in at the same time. So if we just duplicate that,
Cool. Bear.
do bear,
And then
then do
-1?
-1 because we want it. Yeah.
Cool. And section
then
stays the
hopefully the
same
bear-
because they're animating at the same position, right? Because that's the position
Exactly.
parameter. We want them to animate.
Here they are.
This is so fun. Oh, good tip, Cassie. Cassie says add markers true so we can see when it's starting.
Well, because this is one giant timeline, it's going to be just one giant marker at the beginning and one giant marker at the end. But that's
Got it.
they will be useful later on if when we start doing the
Chopping up the timelines or
stats, when we start bringing in those stats. Cool. Right. So now we need we need to kind of know where they're going to go. So we kind of need to start thinking about where this HTML stuff's going to live. We might need to do a bit of HTML.
All right, we need to plan ahead. All right.
Yeah, afraid so.
All right. So got section bear stats. All right. So
maybe
now it's going to go all the way to the bottom, right? Yeah. Now it's based on.
Yeah. So that's it. So now they're not in line because we're telling it 1 second. It's going to be the entire thing. So they're moving in slowly. So that will fix itself once we start adding the other animations in.
Okay.
So I think maybe if we're doing bear first, maybe we want the witch to disappear again and the bear to sort of get a bit closer, maybe rotate.
That's a good call.
We're gonna do the scene changing thing a bit later.
Cool.
But we'll just do that for now.
And Olithia says she doesn't use GSAP often, so it's exciting to watch this. And Corey's here. Hey, Corey. Good to see you. And I think Greenstock JD is, I'm guessing Jack. Unrelated, don't use new before timeline. It should just be const TL equals GSAP timeline. Okay.
Nice.
Cool.
That's good to know.
Thank you.
Get rid of that then.
Jack. Where did I put that? New. Here we go.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that tip.
Unneeded news.
Cool. So we were gonna plan this out, right? So yeah.
I think maybe that bear versus witch maybe should just be like in the middle of the screen with a nice little font, maybe.
That sounds good. Do we want to handle that first, or do we want to do all the animation and then we can worry about CSS and stuff after? I think that kind of makes the most sense, right?
Okay, cool. So let's move this bear then. So let's go. So if we go back down to our timeline then.
Okay.
So we got both of them coming in, and then we want the bear to we want the witch to disappear again. We want the bear to sort of maybe rotate and come forward touch, or maybe sit to the left. So we've got room on the right for the content.
Cool.
So let's do that. So press. So let's go down a couple. So this is going to be the next section now. So we want to increment section by 1.
Section 2 or something, right? So section plus equals 1.
Yep.
Cool. Thank you for that.
Now we know then it'll always all the rest that follow will always start at position 1 rather than at 0.
Right.
So let's make let's get the witch back out again. So the witch can go to back to 5.
Yeah, was she at 5?
Yeah.
Was Witch at 5? Okay, cool. Let me just...
It comes in, and then she should hopefully
Yeah,
leave again.
awesome.
Off she goes.
Awesome, yeah.
So we kind of wanted to go. We don't want it to ease back out. We don't need it to ease out. So we can change the ease on this. We had a default ease in and out, but I think we should
Okay.
just have the ease in here. So let's just change the ease there. So let's make that up like a power 4 or something. So she starts off slowly, but then she disappears pretty quick once. That's just ease in. No, you don't need the word in. They don't need the ease anymore, so you just say in. That's it.
Cool.
So that she should start moving a bit slowly, but then she should still get out of the way quite quickly. See. Okay, that I mean because it's compressed over like the timeline stretched a bit. It's happening a bit slow. And then the bear position, I guess we probably just want it to move forward.
Okay.
So we can leave it at -1, but then we want
Z or
Z. Let's go Z, and then have that move like to 2. Let's see what 2 looks like.
Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. Nice. And then should we have it move over, or should the camera move? Or is this fine and we can do the stats here?
Let's just leave it like that for now. We can play with it, but at the moment we're out of sync with the section, so let's just get all the other sections done so we're in sync again.
Awesome.
And then so let's do the next section. So let's just copy the entire section +1, what have you. And then we're going to say the witch is going to switch. We're going to switch it basically. So the witch is going to be at 1 and Z2. And then we'll want her to ease out this time. So we wanted to start appearing quite quick.
Okay, so should I get rid of this or?
No, just change that to out. So like we don't want her easing into shot. We just wanted to be moving and then ease out. So she slows down. And saying exactly that. So we want it to ease out, but then once it's gone, we don't need it to slow down when it's off screen.
Right. So we want to go Z0 for him, and then X is -5. Right?
Yeah. Cool. And then one more, which is the winner. So maybe we'll bring them both back in. Just for now, we're just slotting back in their start positions.
All right, cool. So X is 1. It's going to drop the ease for now. Let's go Z0 just to reset it. And then get rid of that comma. This one's -1.
Cool. So that should all now sync up. So we should hopefully be in the title screen when they're together.
Bear versus witch.
And they'll animate to the new position for bear stats. We'll just show bear stats. And then we can keep going, and then we'll have witch stats. And then we'll be back to the winner screen.
Oh, chat, check it out. That's so cool. That's working awesome. And you were right. As soon as we got it set up, it was like, now we can really, like once we have a hold of everything, once we know where everything is, we're able to really just move it around and do it real quick. That was fantastic.
Yeah, and that's just why we do this sections. This is why we say every animation for each section is 1.
Yeah.
And then we can just increment this section thing, and we're just keeping it in line. It's just a bit easier that way.
That's real cool. Awesome.
So
now we get to finesse it.
Now,
and add some.
So we can either finesse it, or we can do the slightly more complicated thing of having the scene kind of transition to the blueprint thing, which is a bit of work, but that's kind of like the cool thing.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do it. Yeah, because I think like from here, I feel like I could figure out how to rotate the bear and show a specific spot and like move them around. I don't know if I could figure out how to do the blueprint thing without like digging through your code. So I would love for us to do a bit of that. So yes, absolutely.
Okay, so there's it will be a bit of setup again just to get it working. But so let me just explain how it's going to work. So there's a number of ways you could do this, and shaders probably is the best, most performant way. But what we're going to do is we're going to say, Three.js has this thing called, or WebGL has this thing called scissors, where you can kind of say, I want this part of the screen to render, and I want this part of the screen to render something else. And you can kind of just split up the screen. It's good for when you're doing VR and you need the screen to be split and you need to render 2 different things for that. So we're going to use that. Okay. And we're basically going to change it slightly, but we're going to do the same kind of things we did in airplanes. But what we're going to do is we're going to on the render, so on the tick, we have this render where we say render the scene and this camera. What we're going to do now is we're going to loop through an array of scenes and say render this scene with this camera and then render this other scene with this other camera underneath it.
Got it.
And
So
then
we
we'll
have
animate it. So they'll,
simultaneous scenes that are animating the same way, but one has the blueprint style and the other one has the normal style. And all we kind of do is like when we scroll into one section, we do that scissor technique, and we show the blueprint, and then we bring back the normal as we scroll past it.
yeah, that's
Awesome.
that's right. Yeah. So
Awesome.
let's get this bit set up. So
Yeah.
so now we're going to have more than one scene. So where we create the scene, we're going to have to create two. Two for now, just to do the blueprint. We might make another one if we want to do this kind of awesome kind of trophy thing at the end.
Oh yeah, that's
So
really cool.
let's go back up the top
Okay, all the way to the top.
where we create the scene. Yeah.
Okay.
So where we create the scene, we need to make two scenes now. So let's create. So we create we have to rename that scene. In fact, let's make an object, and it's called scenes,
Okay.
and we're going to store
right
these
in
two
here.
scenes. Yeah. And then we're going to have I don't know, we should call it like real life or something, or real. Let's call it real, and that's going to be a scene.
Because we're going for realism, so I think that's a good a good
So
name for this.
photorealism.
Yeah, we're all about realism here. So
that makes
real,
sense.
is that an object or is that?
It's just a new scene. So that's down there, bottom there. We have like a new scene, just the same thing again. We're just going to create a totally different scene for.
Cool, and then
we'll have wire.
Oh, I need to.
Oh, it needs to be
call
brackets
it.
as well.
Yeah. Cool, and then this is wireframe, or just wire.
Or just wire. That might be easier, right?
Cool.
Yeah. And then again, a new scene.
If I can type it. Cool.
Cool. So down the bottom there now. So we're adding the fog. We actually only want to add that to the real scene. So now we should change this to scenes.real background color
Got
equals
it.
the color.
Scenes. Cool.
Yeah.
And then
And then
same
we'll
with
do the
this
same
one.
for the background.
Okay, cool.
And
get
then
rid of
let's
this.
just change.
Or not yet. We're gonna get crazy hours.
Yeah,
Get rid of
we
that
can
already.
get. Yeah, let's get rid of
Okay,
it.
cool.
Let's get rid of it. It's going to break things because
Yeah.
we're referencing later on, but that's fine. So let's create a new color because we want the blue background, don't we, for the wireframe? So let's just make
Yeah.
a blue. Yeah.
Got an
What blue
idea.
will do. Steel blue, or whatever.
Is that hyphen or is it just like
No,
that?
I think that's right. Yeah,
Cool.
that's right. Let's try that. And then let's assign that to the background of the other one. So scenes.wire background equals. So just duplicate that one.
Scenes.wire.background equals new. Probably should just type this or copy this, but we are here, and it is too late. I saw Alithia ask a question. So it will be up eventually on this page. I now have like show pages for each episode. Still working on them. If you've been on the show and your page has barely anything on it, I just launched this before the show, so like there's still not much around. I'm working on them, but it'll be up here if you want to find it specifically. But yeah, cool. So we got that background. Awesome. Should we just go through and continue to?
Let's leave it for a minute. So
Okay.
let's create another array as well. So we got scenes, and we want to reference that as a model, as an object, so we can, like we just done, say scenes.real. But we also need views, which will have a bit more information about how big that view needs to be. So if we make a new array,
Where at? Right
call it
here.
that's fine, probably. Yeah.
Views equals array. Cool.
And that's going to be an array of objects again. So we're going to say. So the way we're going to animate this is we're going to have, so the way it happens is the scissor, you say where the width is and the bottom. I think it's like that. We'll have a look in a minute. But basically, I want to say where the bottom position is in percentages and where the height is in percentages.
Okay.
So when something is full screen, the bottom will be 0 and the height will be 1 because that's full screen.
Got it.
As we animate through a section, the bottom, the top, the real life will animate. The height will be different, but so height will animate to 0, and the bottom will animate to 1. And that's kind of how that will move up the screen. And then the other one will do the same. In fact, we won't do it for real. Real will probably just stay there for now, just because we're going to
Oh, and we'll
run
just
out of
have the
time,
other
I
one
think.
cover it, and
We'll just have it. Yeah.
it'll still be behind there, and that just makes sense. That's just fine, right?
Now, yeah, I mean, it's not, you ideally want to move one out and move one in and whatever, but let's just go with that for now.
Cool.
So
Let's do it.
so let's add height and bottom to these. The height
Height.
will be 1 for the main, because it'll be the main one, I guess. So 1, bottom 0.
Okay.
Actually, let's make it height 0.5. Let's have both of them show at the same time for now.
Awesome.
Just
That's really
make it-
smart. Cool.
And then let's have the bottom 0.5 too. So this will be the top one.
Okay.
See, so the height is going to half, and it's going to be halfway up.
Got it.
And then here we're going to need to define the scene as well. So we'll just say scene equals scene's real.
Right in.
So after
here?
bottom.
Oh, okay.
after
Got
bottom.
it. So
Later on when we're
comma,
rendering, we know which scene we need to render.
scene equals scenes real. Got it.
Cool.
Okay.
And actually, you know what? We're going to need a camera as well, because you need a separate camera in that scene too. So let's add camera.
Sorry, I just wanted to format that, but it made it tougher. Okay, so camera in here.
Let's just have that as null for now. We'll generate the cameras in a sec.
Okay.
Cool. And let's
Awesome.
do the same for the other one.
And just pretty
What we got?
much reverse, or for the height and bottom.
Height will be the same, but the bottom will be 0. So it's
Got
half height, but it's at the bottom.
Oh.
And the scene is wire, yeah, and the camera is null.
Awesome.
And then, so now, when we create the cameras, we just need to run through the views and create the cameras in there instead. If we
Cool.
find the camera, which might be
Right
yeah,
here.
cool. So let's just surround that in a loop. So so views dot for each.
Got it. And Cassie says, I love how Steve organizes his code. By the way, I find Three.js a bit wordy and confusing, so this is really nice to see. Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, it can. It's one of those things, and a lot of the examples you see of Three.js is just like one giant thing, which is kind of what we're doing here. But I do like to separate the scene stuff into like a scene class, and then I kind of don't have to look at that again. I can just say, here's a thing, I want to add it to the scene, just sort that out for me. So I normally would split this out a little bit, but we got these comments, so we're going through a flow, so it's hopefully quite easy to follow.
Yeah.
So that's
Like
right.
this?
So now we're just, rather than const camera, we're just gonna say view.camera equals that perspective
Got
camera.
it. That's nice. And then we're gonna do scene. I guess we'll have to keep this inside the loop, and then do scene.add.view.camera. Right?
We'll also the view.scene.add, because the scene's now part of the view too.
Right. Whoa. starting to get
And
a little
the camera
inception-y.
the
Yeah.
camera target doesn't need to be a part of this loop. We can have one target. It's not really a part of the scene. It's
That
just
makes
a
sense.
coordinate that we're saving. So that can
makes
just be a one thing.
Yeah, and that should stay
Okay.
constant across both of them, or else we're not going to get that cool like reveal kind of feature if
Yeah,
they're not lined
exactly.
up perfectly.
Okay, cool. Right, I need to look up a bit now about the whole view. So we need to fix all the bits where we're adding things to scene. So you can't add the same object to two scenes at once.
Okay.
So we need to clone our witch, which sounds like a bad idea. And we need to clone our bear. Cloning witches sounds like a terrible idea. But we're
Magic
gonna
and
have to.
science
We're just-
together is just a disaster. That's not. Oh man.
Well, we're going to try it and see what happens. So when we do our load, we're loading in these models. Oh, actually, let's fix this while we're here. So while we're here, the lights
Whoa.
and the floor.
Hold on. One sec. Cassie, thank you so much for those gifted subs. That's super, super kind. Really appreciate that. That's just beyond kind of you. Thank you so much. Wow. That was fantastic. Yeah. Sorry. You were saying, Steve?
So before we do that, we need to all the floor and the lights need to be added to the real scene rather than just the scene now. So let's go and fix that while we're heading down.
Okay. So, real. Got it. See views.
Scene.
Nope.
Scenes
Scenes dot
dot real.
real. Cool.
We'll
Yeah,
add the
thank you
floor to
again,
that.
Cassie. That's so kind. And then the light too, right? Because this other one's
Yeah,
not
we're-
going to have any lights. It's just
Nope.
the materials will kind of take care of what we can see. Anything else? View.scene.add. We're good there.
And then
Scenes. The
floor, we've
floor.
done.
Yeah, we're not going to need the floor. Or already did that.
we've
Whoops.
done that, yeah.
My fault. All right.
think that's good.
Cool. And then here we're
So
going to need,
right, so
yeah.
it's now to loop through views. So now we need to just take everything we got here, apart from the request animation frame. That needs to be outside this loop, but everything else needs to be in a loop now. Or over views. So views for each. Yeah.
Got it. Cool. And
we'll also have to fix the resize as well, because the resize is resizing one scene. So let's do that now before we forget. So if you go back up to the on resize,
okay,
we need to loop over the camera there. The same thing again, views for each, and then we'll just fix both cameras at once.
Got it. Let me just hit enter for each view. Cool. Parenthesis there. All right, nice. And then view.camera.
That's it.
Right? Yep. This is a really nice way to organize this. I thought it was going to be a lot of I thought it was going to be a lot tougher to fix this up. This is really nice. Yeah.
And then let's go down to the render and basically the same thing. So we got the camera now. So we want the views camera to look at target. And then we want to render. So now there's something we need to do in between this, and it's that set up the scissors. So we need to work out the height. So basically, we need to times size height by the height that we want it to be. That makes sense. So and then we also need to set. So it is a pixel thing. So we need to actually get the proper height from the height of the viewport.
So this is coming into the
need
bottom
to do that
bit, right? Like the height and bottom bit, or like
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So we need to turn height into what that percentage of the real height. So we need to create one. So let's create a new variable in the render there inside the loop, because we'll need it
inside tick or on resize inside tick.
In the tick.
Cool.
So there. So let's go let or const bottom. Yep. Equals, and it's got to be the size height. So that's set when we resize. So that's going to be the height of the window times
so view.height. Or wait, size height.
So yeah, the size height. So we're taking the height of the viewport and we're timesing it by the view height.
Okay.
This will make more sense in a bit, I think.
All right. So size height times
view height.
Okay.
And that's where a view bottom, sorry. So we're setting bottom. So that's going to be where it positions itself at the bottom, and we need to do the same for height. So let height equals size height times view height.
And just for the chat, size height we're getting from this on resize. It's just the container width and height. Well, it's just the height. Yep. Cool.
Because we're basically converting a percentage into pixels, so that's the pixel position on the screen. Cool. And now we need to say to the renderer, we want you to render this bit here, not the whole thing. So this is where you go renderer dot set viewport.
Oh.
And then we want it to start
P capital, or is it it's just the viewport, right?
That. And so this is the top left, top right, top left XY. So it's going to be brackets. Right. We need to pass in
that.
No. So it's a function. Sorry, my bad.
Cool. Okay. No.
So 0 0. So we're going to start at top left.
You say it's an array or 0 0.
0, so you got it right there. And then the next one as well is going to be the size width and size height. So that's kind of the viewport. That's the whole thing. And then after that, we then say we want the scissor. So the bit we're going to cut, the bit we're going to, that's it. So that's it. That's the end of that one.
Cool.
The new line. So renderer set scissor.
This is cool.
And then that's going to be 0. So it's going to start on the X. And the bottom, so the Y is going to start where we've set bottom. So this needs to be bottom. And then we need the width. So it's going to go to the width of the screen. So size width.
Because we're never cutting the scissor on the side. It's always going to be full width, but the top and
Yeah.
bottom
Well,
changes.
we totally could. If you wanted
Yeah.
it so like, one side of the screen was like the
Yeah.
witch's kind of room and the other side was the bear's forest, you could totally render it like that.
Oh, that's really
Um,
cool. That's cool.
let's
And
let's
then
go with height. So this is now just the height. So
cool.
that's how tall it's going to be. So that's how far down it's going to go.
And then is this view dot
And then
scene?
one more thing we need to do is render a set scissor test true. So that's going to be a function again. That's just telling it to do the scissor. You know why it's called test? But that's a function as well. So just pass in true.
Cool. Awesome.
I think we've got some errors. I'm not entirely. I think that's because we're still trying to add
Camera's not
these
defined,
characters.
so we need to do. This needs to be inside the. Oh,
It is. We
inside
just
the
need to
4H,
just go.
view dot. Cool. All right.
And I think
where were we?
I think we're going to have errors at the model loading as well because we're still trying to add the models to the main scene.
Okay. Well, I think here too. So view dot scene.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
And view camera. Awesome. And then down here we have more. This is looking good already though. We're getting the half and half.
So we're rendering the two scenes.
Yeah.
We're just not adding the models to a scene. So we'll just
Right.
add that to the top scene for now.
Where's the model dot scene dot traverse child?
There you go.
Scene dot add. So
let's add that one to scenes.real.
Okay.
And then let's create so see how we got models.
Yeah.
And then we add the group. Let's create a new object called clones. And we'll do the same. We'll create a clone in the clones object.
So up by models, we'll do clones.
Yeah.
Yeah, so game type, we're getting into kind of a more, I'd say, somewhat more advanced feature or like sort of thing. But once you kind of understand, like what we did is we just ran back through, and now we're creating a camera twice and just putting it into each scene. So we've got two different scenes, and we're going, all right, instead of create camera and add to scene, we're going create camera for this scene, create camera for this scene, but have it be the same settings. And you'll see what, well, it's because we want it to do this kind of an effect, right? This effect's a little bit more advanced, and so that's why these are actually two different scenes. This scene has the real look, and then this scene has the wireframe look. And so so here's the scissor effect in action, right? So it's going up and it's at the top now, right? So that's how that's working. Am I saying that right, Steve?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's actually slightly different on the airplanes one because it's doing the scissors, but it's not rendering two different scenes. It's rendering the same scene with different You have this thing in Three.js called layers. So you can actually tell things to turn off and on versus layers. I don't think that's as good as way. I think this way is now better.
Awesome.
For another reason. So I think this is the better way. So this is good.
Awesome. So we made our clones, right? Clones object. Cool.
So now we need to clone each one. This is where either or hell will break loose because we've just cloned a witch. So so models. Is it clones or clones?
I think you're right. Clones. Look at that.
So item.group.clone, and that's a function. So we can't just add the group to that.
Wait.
We want
item.group.clone.
Actually, no. Let's make the clone first. So just up there, just do const clone equals group clone.
Okay. Where's that going here?
It's just above the line above. So line, just that's it. So let's just do clone equals items group clone. And then we need to add that to one scene, and we need to add that to our clones object. So uncomment that and just pass in clone. That's the one. And then we'll also add it to the wire scene. So scenes wire add clone.
And so we should see the same thing in both. Yeah, so that just doesn't have lights, and that makes sense. Why is it not? Oh, and that's why it's not showing up.
Because
we're animating.
We're still animating the other two.
Yeah.
Okay, so scenes have this cool little thing where you can say, look, this scene, everything in it, we're going to override the material. So rather than going through this clone and say we want this material to be this, we want this material to be this,
Right.
we're just going to go up to where we create the scene, and we're just going to say scene. I think it's scene material override. Let me check. We need to create a new material as well while we're at it. Yeah, so it's override material it's called. So let's make a new wireframe material. So just before we start creating these scenes, let's create a new material. And it's going to be, let's just call it wireframe material, yeah. And it's going to be a new mesh basic material because that doesn't react to lights. We don't need lights to see that one.
Cool.
Material. It's actually a material as well. That's it. And then we're just going to pass in the color white. There's an object there. And color equals white.
Cool.
And then also we want wireframe to be true.
Ah, nice.
Cool. Now we need to say on that scene, so on scene's wire, we need to say override material and then just pass that one in.
Just like here? Or
yeah, so scenes.wire. And it's override material.
Dot override material.
Equals. So it's not a function, that one. Cool. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll have a wireframe.
We do.
In that scene.
We do. That's awesome. And it'll overlap once you have the animation syncing up, but it's already looking pretty awesome. That's really cool.
We can sort that out really easy as well because GSAP can animate arrays of objects rather than just single things.
Cool. Shout out to Ben real quick. Thank you for moderating that, Ben. Appreciate you. And super quick since I just interrupted. Olithia says, "Is the scissors thingy more performant? Can you explain more why you decided to do it like this?"
That's a good question. So I don't think it is. It's like if you're talking about like doing this with shaders, like that would definitely be more performance. If you like literally had every shader like react to a position and stuff like that, that would be better, I imagine. This is more a time thing. Like this is a quick way to do this, and because we've only got a few models in here, it shouldn't be a problem. And this is how you do like the VR kind of rendering to your eyes. So it's not performant. It's just perhaps not the best way to do this, but it should be fine for this demo.
Cool. Thanks for answering that.
So let's go back to where we're setting up these animations. We need to do one little thing.
All right. Animations.
So before we do, on the animation setup,
here we go.
Let's create 3 things. Let's create an object. So const cameras. In fact, let's make it outside this function because we're going to need to. Let's just say null for now because we can't make it anything right now. And then let's have in fact that has to be a let now because we're going to change it later. It can't be a const anymore.
Trying to get over. Home will not be called. All right, let. Cool.
And then we need witches and we need bears. And again, that's a let because we'll change that later. So what we're going to do, we're going to turn these into arrays of cameras, an array of witches, an array of bears. So in there now, so in there we're going to say cameras equals, and then we'll say let's make it an object.
Okay.
And then say positions. So we can animate positions together then. So positions equals an array of views 0 camera position.
Sorry, what?
That makes sense. So views.
Just
views in there. Views. Yeah. And then we're going to grab the first one. So views 0.
Views. Ah, okay. Got it. Sorry. I understand.
And then camera position. The camera dot position. No, sorry. There. So we're grabbing the camera out of that view.
Okay. Camera. Okay.
And then we're grabbing the position out of the camera. So dot position.
And
then we're going to do the same for the other one too. We're going to add the other one to that array too. So views 1, let's add that to the array too.
Okay.
In fact, you could make this a map as well if you wanted to. If you just want to do views map.
No, it's fine. I was just trying to figure out. I was trying to parse what was being said. All good. All right,
Okay, and
cool.
then we'll do a similar kind of thing for witches. So witches equals positions, and we'll probably do rotation just in case we want to animate that. So
Just copy this and
we won't grab it from the views anymore though. So positions
okay.
equals, and then we're going to add the models dot witch dot position. And this is going to be an array, and then we're going to grab the other one. The reason we're doing this is because GSAP can animate any number, like an array of things. So we're
Okay.
now going to say witches dot positions, and then just run the animation we've done before, and it'll animate both of them at the same time.
Okay.
So now we need clones dot witch dot position in there.
Got it. I'm starting to understand now. And then for the bear, we'll do the same thing for the bears, right?
Yeah, and we might want to do rotations while we're here.
That makes sense.
Bears, and then let's copy the positions and add that to both of them too.
I mean the rotation. Oh, why did it do that one? Because it was plural. Like that.
And actually, you probably just want this to be rotation, just on these
This
ones.
one up front. That makes
so
sense.
yeah. And same with positions. Just make it position, just so we're
Cool.
saying which is position. Cool. So now when we go,
which I have bears here, it should be bear.
yeah.
Cool.
So now what we have to do to fix this animation is to go to the animations and change which dot whatever it is. If we go down there and have a look, so we got models which position. Now we need to just change models which to witches.
Which is that position?
Just yeah. So which is dot position, and then that should animate both of them at the same time because it's animating an array and we're moving them both to that position.
Bears.
That was bears, yeah. Cool, and then do it on all of them. So we have a few down there.
Yeah. The set isn't working.
We need to. Well, we haven't added that to the just above. Sorry, just below this, we go models which position. So go back up a bit. Up. There you go. Line. That's it. So we just need to change that, and then that's the one. That's not going to work. So because that's an array, we're just saying this array should X. Because we can use GSAP set and do the same. GSAP has rather than two. GSAP has a way of just
GSAP
changing values instantly.
Set. Or GSAP, which is that position dot set?
So GSAP dot set.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Thank you. Dot set. And then which is that position, and then
it's going to be the object.
An object. Cool. That makes sense. That's a tidy solution for that. And then bears.
And then -5.
-5.
Cool. And then we just need to fix those last few animations on the next scenes. So it's going to work on the first bit, but it's not going to work for the rest of it.
But it's already looking great. Like that's already super cool. All right. Yeah. So I just got to go through and do the same thing everywhere. So witches. I don't remember if I copied the comma. I did not. Yeah. So the whole time it's going to be animating both. But we're not going to always show half and half like this. We're only going to do it when we go into a certain section.
Out in a second.
Yeah, this is such a cool effect. Awesome.
Cool. So hopefully now if we run through the page, both of those are going to be animating in the same way.
Awesome.
Cool. So now we need to animate those positions. So we just add that to the timeline. So in section, I guess it's in section 2. So if you scroll up a little bit.
Yeah.
There, where we bring one forward. That's right. So we're bringing one forward. So we want to say now timeline 2, and then we're going to animate the
below or the
let's see.
height?
Going to be we can animate both, but actually we only need to animate one. So let's just do views 1. And then we're just going to animate the bottom and the height. So no,
and
no,
then
sorry. That's
bottom.
it. So bottom will now be so we need to change it up to the top at the moment because so bottom will stay at bottom 0 actually, won't it? But we want the height to be 1 if we're going to leave the other one where it is. So let's just go height equals 1.
That.
And let's make the ease linear because it's really nasty. It's not very nice when the ease doesn't match the scroll when you're doing an entire
Yeah.
wipe. It looks really off. So let's just do linear. That's it. And let's go and set the. Let's just check that works. It should. It should.
Yeah. Oh.
So let's just start it at height 0, and then we're good to go.
All right. So set it up here, or start it. Where we set it.
Where
Where
we
do
create views.
Where the heck do we do that? Views, scenes, views. Here we go.
So we want
height,
that to be 1,
height
and the
is
bottom
1.
to be 0.
Bottom
And
to
that
be
one.
0.
So that's full of height, and that has to be 0, 0. Cool. Now hopefully once that refreshes, we should. If we
Awesome.
scroll down to the other bit, it should hopefully.
That's so
Out of sync a
cool.
bit.
That is so cool.
It's
It is.
a little out of sync though. It should be going up roughly where that red line is. So where are we getting that wrong?
Interesting. Yeah, because it. Huh.
We're telling it to do it at the same time that we move the bear, but the bear's already there by the time it's going.
50%.
So are we not adding section to the end of the
We
animation?
are not. No, we are not. Good call. I forgot that bit. Camera switches. No, that's not where we are. Section.
Yes.
There we go.
Without that, it's adding it to the end.
Makes sense. There, it's pretty much.
So
Yeah.
I think the ease isn't right.
Yeah, something's off about
Ease.
it. It's pretty darn close, but
Yeah,
little
that looks
faster
like
than
the
we
ease
expected.
to me.
yeah.
We'll just fix that ease, and I think that would be good.
Is linear what we're looking for there? Is it just quote linear?
What have I used in the past? They've got yeah, ease linear. Oh, I think it's just a typo. I think.
Linear. None. Ease none, right? Yeah.
Oh, ease none. That'll do. Still not
off
right,
a
is
little
it? Why
bit.
is that doing that?
Oh well. I think it's good for
All right,
now.
well, yeah, it's good enough, isn't it?
Yeah. All right.
And
cool.
then we could, if we wanted to do like the other bit, then we would just add that to the views, and then we'd just so we could now quite quickly make another view that animates in because we've done the hard work now. So adding another view is just a case of kind of just setting that up.
Yeah, let's I don't know. I don't know if we have time to do like a full yeah, I'm trying to think. Do we go for that last view? I'm not sure if adding another one would be as informative because yes, like I feel like now I can figure out how to add another view and how to add another material. I was thinking like you could get like a matte cap that's gold, right? And just add that on and it would look really cool.
You do exactly that. So you do the same thing. You'd make a new material with a matte cap in it.
Yeah.
And then you'd add that to that scene.
Like huge library of matte cap PNG textures. There's like a ton in here, and we could just find like a cool gold looking one like this or something, right? And and slap that on, and then we've got our trophy, right? You got like your trophy witch or your trophy bear.
Yeah.
So instead of that, do we want to just try to get a little bit of text coming in? Maybe for a stat. I'm trying to think of like what would be the most useful thing, because I think the one thing that I don't have a great sense of how to do it would be positioning in relationship to like the ear. If I wanted to have like say some kind of like line here and like superior hearing written there, I don't know if I would be able to figure out how to target that ear even if the ear is moving around.
Okay, it might take a little while, but
Okay.
what we need to do is how long we got?
We're kind of over time, so
I mean, I can explain how you
Yeah.
you would do it
Yeah, it'd be
rather than
great.
maybe. Let's have a look. I've got another project somewhere where I do it. It's one of those things I don't do it often enough to know off by heart. So
No
give
worries.
me a mo. Basically, you need a ray tracer. So basically saying I need to know where this point is, and then you kind of grab that and
Ah,
convert that to screen space, and then you can come position it. Um, Let me have a look.
that's interesting. Yeah, because I always liked the way that you were able to kind of line this up. Whoa, thank you
But
for that
actually,
follow.
I don't do that on here. So on here, it's just kind of, if you were to shrink that window, none of it lines up. It's just
Oh.
kind of,
Steve, you're
well, I
uninvited.
cheated.
Get off my. No, it's still, yeah. I never
Yeah, I
noticed.
could have
It's good
done.
enough. It's good enough.
Yeah, exactly. So it's one of those things where, like, and so if you want to do it properly, we can kind of have a look. I just need to
No,
find it.
no, that's totally fine. I wasn't sure if there was like a special trick to targeting with DOM elements specific things
Yeah,
inside Three.js, and so
yeah, there
ray
totally is.
tracing is the answer.
I think it's called ray tracing. That's something slightly different. I might have said the wrong word. Let me have a look.
Yeah, I'm thinking what's the thing that if you were to use ray casting, so that's like
That's it.
if you shoot
Yeah.
like yeah, if I'm making like a laser gun game and I want to see if there's like a hit detection or something, or I mean for this, if I want to see if I'm clicking on the bear, if I'm clicking on the bear's eye, that's what I would use, right, for ray casting. Yeah, and that's what Alithia is saying. For mouse over effects, clicks on 3D stuff. Cool. So you can use ray casting in a like for absolute positioning or something like that. That's super cool.
I actually don't know. I might be lying to you there. Let me
It's
just
cool.
quickly find out.
I think we've got some people in the chat who seem to be a little bit more familiar with this specific aspect. Alithia is linking to the Raycaster. That's awesome. Used for mouse picking, amongst other things. Awesome. Yeah, because I'm familiar with it in this context of like I need to detect clicks, or if I want to have like the bear have a like change color on hover, then you would use the Raycaster. But I never thought to use it um, to position DOM elements around an object. That's really cool.
Yeah. I
But
don't know. I'm gonna have to. I'm thinking I'm
yeah,
gonna
no
find it in
worries,
time. I
no
don't want to be
worries.
sitting here just looking
Yeah,
for
all good.
ages.
Yeah,
But yeah,
and this is the read the docs
just
portion of the show.
yeah, it's gonna be very much like that for like 20 minutes.
No
Just
worries.
going,
Yeah, no,
hmm.
I very appreciate it. Chat. Anything else you want to ask before we head out? And thanks, Steve. I'm gonna chat for another couple of minutes, but I just want to make sure like those were my kind of questions where I was curious how to do this swipe basically, and let's get rid of the section so it looks a little bit cooler, or sorry, the outlines, so it's not as like debugging kind of look. Cool. Yeah. So I love how easy this is, and how so one thing we didn't do, actually, you know what? Let's do that super quick if you don't mind. Animate the camera just coming down from like a little bit up, a little bit down, right?
Yep,
Um,
that sounds good. So let's do that.
yeah.
So that's on the first scene. So that's the very
Right.
first thing we need to do is set the camera up too high
Oh yeah,
first.
yeah, yeah,
We
yeah.
can do
Good
that when we
call.
make it.
Camera. Good call. Camera target. No, that's not it.
Actually, no, that's right. The target is actually what we want to animate because we want it to look up. So we need a target to be up. So
Oh,
let's
that's
make
a
the
cool
target
idea.
high.
I was thinking, and I don't know camera terms, so I'm going to say them wrong. I was thinking a pan. I know it's not a pan, but a pan rather than like a tilt.
Oh, I see.
But
So you want to move it up. So
but a
if you want to
tilt's a
move
cool
both,
idea. No, no, I just didn't have that in mind. I like the idea of a tilt. That's awesome.
let's do that
And
then. So
then
that
we're
means,
only moving one thing, so that's pretty cool.
yeah,
So this
so let's,
is this is
that's
left and
X.
right.
So
This
you
is
want Y.
up and
So
down.
let's make that. You probably don't have to
5.
go much, actually. You only probably have to go up to 2 or 3 or something, and
Okay,
that will
let's try
probably do it.
3, and then camera target dot position. Yeah, so look, we can barely see anything here. That's perfect. Okay, so on the first scroll, no, where are we? Setup
Yeah.
animation. Here we go. So
Okay. The desktop
just
animation.
all right. Timeline, man, it got all weird. All right, here we go. So here, right?
That's right.
So TL.2, camera target dot position.
No, because this is actually just a vector 3, so it doesn't have a position. It's
Oh.
just animating that directly.
Oh, so
So we're
dot X? No, camera target, and then Y is 1?
1. And then section?
Yeah. Let's see how
Yeah,
that
jobs are good.
works. Let's see what we got, chat. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, it's coming down a little bit. Let's make it a little more dramatic with 4. Let's just make it like really. Let's just ruin it. Let's just ruin your hard work, Steve. Just let me just get my hands, like grubby little fingers all over your beautiful work. Scene, views, renderer, camera. Here we go. Let's go 4. I just want to really feel it like come down. Yeah, that's cool. That's great, right?
You know what you could do as well? What you could do is move the camera forward. So it starts forward. So as it's panning down, it's moving backwards. They kind of almost like appear behind you. Try
Okay,
it. Just move
so
the camera forward a touch.
camera forward at the start or here.
Yeah. Have the camera start rather than I think it's like 5. Let's have it start at 2 or something.
Okay. And then it's gonna move to 5,
Yeah.
right? So camera starts.
So
Okay, wait. It starts.
That's a 4. So let's start it. Let's start it at
No, well, that's the Y.
that's-
That's the Y
you're right.
height.
You're right. I started at
Oh. Sorry. So sorry. No. So we're looking at the camera target. The actual camera itself starts here. So 5. Yes. So
let's
5.
move that 1 maybe. Let's start right really close, like
Okay.
uncomfortably close.
And then we'll have to do this twice because it's each camera. Actually, yeah.
Nope, we don't because we added that camera's.
Oh, yeah.
So if you go down
Cool.
there,
All right. So cameras. This is the last thing we're doing, Chad. I promise. TL cameras dot position,
yep.
and that's Z, and that was 5.
Yep.
All right, let's see what we got. Aaron just banned one of the letters. How am I gonna do that? Make them jump. Support game says that's awesome. And Gina, good to see you. Here we go. So here we go. Let's see what we got. I just want to make sure we can see this effect. So we're scrolling. Okay, something went horribly wrong. What did I do? What did I do? This animation didn't kick in. Cameras dot position. This camera's not a thing. Cameras.
It's animated. Oh, maybe it isn't.
Positions.
Oh, that's why. So just get rid of that. There you go.
All right. Here we go. Let's try it again. Trying again, chat. Oh, that's pretty cool.
That's not quite as dramatic as I was hoping.
No, let's go forward a little bit. Chat, we're so close. We are so close.
It's going to be weird, actually, because if we move it further forward, it's going to kind of be facing backwards, if that makes sense. It's going to be like turning backwards. It's going to looking at that point. Let's give it a go.
We acknowledge that it's a mistake, and we're going full speed ahead. Oh, that's gonna look terrible. Yeah. Let's try it.
I think it'll be all right.
It still has like a nice like zoom. It's a lot more dynamic than it was 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, I mean, an ease would help there, I think, because we don't need it to ease in. It's easing in still, so it's taking a little while to get going. So if we just were to change the ease to out, it will probably get going a bit quicker.
Let's try that. All right. So in out, drop this or no?
No. That's it. We're just on the cameras.
On the cameras, cool. So you're saying out or in?
Out. Yeah, and let's make it power 4s maybe a bit much.
What do you want to do?
Make it a 2.
All right, 2 it is.
Go for it.
All right, let's see if it loaded. I think it might have.
Yeah. Wow.
I'm loving it. I love it. Bear versus witch. And then we look at bear stats. The witch gets out of here. Bear stats are done. Witch is back in. And then, we could do at this point. Do you want to finish off? Because it wouldn't be long. Finish off just bringing this back to real.
Yep, let's do that.
Right,
so let's grab
and
where
then
we.
That is the true finish. That is the true end of this project. I promise, chat. I just want to keep playing with it. It's so much fun. All right. Where is it? So which is position bear? This right here. Views 1, right? Yep. Grab that.
Yep. So we want that height to be 0, but we also want the bottom to be 1. So we want it to get head on up.
Cool. Okay. And that'll happen as we scroll towards this, right? We don't have to worry about it. Yeah, let's check it out.
That's a nice thing about this setup. Like that's all you needed to do to sort of do that next thing. If it works, he says that.
That's awesome. That's so cool. It's so cool. And then that scene could be the trophy scene where Bear becomes, that full gold thing. Oh,
Yeah,
no, this one.
I mean, you could actually not even need another view while the blueprint is in screen. You could just switch them.
That's a good point.
Then,
Could you do that with
so
GreenSock, or would that have to be a function that you like?
Yeah, so you could do on complete on that one, but then it gets tricky when it reverses and stuff. So you might not want to, but
okay.
Yeah.
I just dropped my little version of this in the chat, but the template that we started with that Steve kindly provided for us gets you like off the ground, because Three.js has a whole lot of boilerplate, a whole lot of setup for a lot of projects, and Steve has some great stuff in this template. Like if I open it up again, you'll see that it's got a lot of settings that you might not know how to kind of put in, and it's just a nice default to run with. So that is all in leave. That's all on this page. And if you came in halfway through, or if you had to dip in and out, the video will be up on this page. So bookmark this. And also the market where we got the witch from, and other cool resources on there. I also will have to put your Twitter and stuff on this page, Steve. I should have thought of that. I am gonna do it. I'm working on these pages as we speak. But yeah, honestly, we have a whole bunch of fun shows like this planned. So this was today's. On Tuesday, we've got the creator of Slinkity, Ben Holmes, coming on. So definitely be here for that. On next Thursday, 1 week from now, we've got Liam Egan, who I think might still be in the chat. Yeah, he spoke like 2 minutes ago. So if he's left, he is uninvited. If he's left in the last 2 minutes, he's off. No. Liam is a phenomenal creative developer. I know Steve can vouch for that too. And he is going to come on and kind of teach us about shaders in this same kind of format, where we're not exactly sure what we're doing, but we know we want to learn about shaders and that kind of topic, and it's going to be a blast. And yeah, we got Ben Myers coming on to teach us Eleventy. We're going to learn about Chakra UI. We have Ryan Labar, who was in chat earlier, coming on. Astro we're checking out. We have Olithia, who was in chat a bit ago, coming on to teach us or to build a cool space shader for Component Carousel. Whole lot of stuff. So make sure you are following here. Make sure you drop a follow, because we got a whole bunch of stuff planned. I'm trying to book people constantly. Lots of Eleventy. We love to see it. But yeah, so thank you so much, Steve. Let me actually plug real quick your hold on, Steve. What's your website again?
Stevie G. So it's ste.vg.
There it is. Steve's site is just and Andy Bell's Cube CSS. And we're gonna have Andy on. I didn't mean to skimp at the end. James Quick with Auth0 and Andy Bell gonna learn some Cube CSS. I'm not gonna read that out loud, Ike Cardinale, but that's very kind of you. He can read chat, but yeah. So Steve, you are fantastic. I would love to have you on anytime. This is always a blast. Thank you again, man. I appreciate it.
It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it really was.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, and chat, hang out. We're gonna raid somebody great. We're gonna find them and we're gonna raid them, and it's gonna be a whole lot of fun. We're gonna keep this party going. Thank you again, and yeah, make sure you're following. Make sure you are here on Tuesday, because we're gonna have lots of fun next week. So take care. I'll see you soon.